Good evening, everybody, and Happy New Year. Welcome to episode 26 of the Gaming Fuse podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom. It's Noof Nukem back in the room. So glad to be back in action after a couple weeks taking away for the holidays and letting everybody just get their game on. But boy, are we going to kick this show off to a great start tonight because we have got not only our Dynamite panel, but we have got some incredible guests making his third time return. You'll see him in just a moment, but he's brought the crew with him tonight, so we're going to get right down into it. Obviously, this is a speculation episode tonight where we're going to kind of talk about what we hope to see in 2024, what we might likely see in 2024. Obviously, one of the big news of the year came down, just before everything wrapped, was that E3s are going to be no more, so that's very disappointing. We don't have that to look forward to in the summer, so that's kind of a bummer for 2024, kicking things off on a sour note. But there's a lot of great games coming down the pipe as well, and I'm sure all three companies look to deliver. We can definitely count on Xbox. They look like they got a dynamite lineup. We're going to get right into it. But without any further ado, I'm going to bring in my co-panel member. But before I bring her in, just a side note that Mental 9R cannot be here tonight. He's feeling under the weather, guys, so he had to bow out. But look, we've got some great replacements tonight. But anyway, let's bring her in. The lady who's always opinionated. She is the indie expert. She is a car guru. It is Coolcat Terri.
Hey, everybody. I'm happy to be here. Happy New Year to everyone. Hope it's going to be a fantastic year for gaming. So I'm excited.
It is. I can't wait to hear what Terri is excited about this year, and maybe perhaps some of her predictions coming down the pipeline. All righty, bringing him back in, making his third time appearance on the Gaming Fuse podcast, the man with shades and the cool-ass background with Garfield. It's the one, the only Game Complainerz, a.k.a. Mr. Perry.
Hey, what's up? Happy New Year, guys.
There you go. Keeps it simple and to the point. His old lady must love him. All right. I don't know if he's overly slender, but he is definitely a man who acts like Bender. Let's bring him in. He's got no hair, but he doesn't look anything like Mental 9R. We got his co-panel member from the Game Complainerz podcast. It's Slendy, a.k.a. Fred.
What's up, guys? Happy New Year. How's it going?
Holy shit, he's got Mr. Clean or somebody in the background. Who the fuck is that? It's like some big ass dude sitting back there in a tuxedo. What the fuck is that?
That's my friend.
I just noticed him there right now. Very good. I hope he doesn't start moving. I might get creeped out here. Resident Evil live. All right, last but not least. All right, he's the man with the amazing background. He knows how to lay it down. His first time visit on the show as well. Also from the Game Complainerz podcast, Anthony.
What's up, everyone? Happy New Year. Good to be here. Can't wait to talk about some gaming in 2024 and to hear everybody's predictions. It's going to be good.
Oh, man, it's going to be awesome. Especially awesome when you start to chat out and you see a guy named MILFman 1986. That person was meant to be in the Gaming Fuse podcast chat, that's for sure. As you guys know, this is an R-rated podcast. Anything really goes here. We don't hold any punches. We keep it honest and opinionated. But, hey, we still try to keep it on the level to a certain degree because we all know Noof Nukem can get pretty wild. I have my own level of Starfield up in my brain. Millions of hours of game space going on there. My wife has not explored all my planets yet, but she has been around Uranus. Oh, Lord.
Perfect.
I'm off to a wild one already. All right. Let's give a shout out to the chat real quick. We got some amazing people here, as we always do each and every week. The one and only Timothy Dixon is in the house. We got Dan White, 1025. Jason Max is here with us. Dreadpool is in the building. We've got Back from the Dead hanging out here. Darkos Dreamers, Talos, Ray, Doggy Dog 420 is here. Who else we got going on tonight? With some MILF Band is here tonight, so that's great. We've got Jesse Darby. We have also got who else we got going on, guys? Andrew Cullinane is in the building. What's going on, Andrew? We got Thimber in the house. We got JB Zombie and many more. If I didn't give you a shout out, guys, please let me know in the chat because, again, our podcast would not be anything without you guys, and we certainly appreciate you. And I just want to let everybody know that we know that you're there, and we appreciate your conversations in the chat and your questions and all that other stuff. But all right, guys, here we are. It is now time. 2023 is in the rearview mirror. Is it safe to say, guys and girls? We'll start with Coolcat Terri and go around the path. How would you guys assess 2023 though on a gaming standpoint? Would you say it was Perhaps one of the best gaming years in the last 10 for sure. Coolcat.
I
Would you
guess
say
it
it was
would
a great
depend
year?
on. I mean, I guess it depends on what platform you play on. If you aren't on everything already,
Right.
for me, like I mean, I have everything for the most part, but I don't play on a lot of them very often. So for me, I feel like it was a decent year, but like I don't play exclusive games. I find I'm more of a third party gamer. So for me, I mean I don't get hyped for a lot of the exclusives they show. So for me, it was kind of like a mid year.
Right.
So I mean, it just depends, you know. Like I'm not excited for Spider-Man or any of that other stuff that comes out, you know, or Starfield. I played Starfield, I beat it, and I thought it was meh. But you know, to each their own, I guess. You know, I'll enjoy my third-party games. I mean, I think it was pretty decent for third-party games. So.
Terry just doesn't love a man in tight red tights.
Nah.
Or black tights.
No.
Yeah, she likes her men behind big engines.
Don't get me wrong. Okay, when it comes to Spider-Man, though, okay, so I love all of the old Spider-Man games. I hate the new ones that Sony has right now. I can't freaking stand them. Can't
Fair
stand
enough.
them. So they ruined Spider-Man for me, as far as I'm concerned.
You're probably in the small minority there, I'm sure, on that opinion, but I'm pretty sure the rest of the panel probably likes the Spider-Man games. I know I certainly do. But, you know, after what 3-4 games now already in the last couple of years, Spider-Man Remastered, Miles Morales, and then Spider-Man 2, I'm already starting to feel a slight tinge of fatigue. And I'm hoping that if they bring out Spider-Man 3, they at least move it to a different area, that it feels fresh and new, because I just want to swing through New York any more times. Like, take Spider-Man, put him on a plane, send him to Los Angeles or something. I don't know, somewhere different. You know? In the comics, he's not confined to very many places. He goes all over the place. So
buildings are too short in LA. He wouldn't be able to get anywhere.
Yeah, we'll send him to Canada. He froze to death swinging through the fucking air. Spider-Man has died of hypothermia. The Venom guys, the dudes couldn't kill him, but hypothermia got him in Canada. He's trying to shoot his webs. They're freezing up as he's going. Crap. All right, so it sounds like a bit of a ho-hum year for you, Terry, overall.
Yeah. Just, you know, like I said, that there hasn't been any exclusive titles from anybody that has really got me excited in a very long time. So I mean, I'm still waiting for somebody to, you know, get something for me, but they haven't had anything for me.
Yeah. How about you, Perry? Where would you say 2023 ranked in terms of games? And I want to know as well, what were some of the big games you saw selling at your shop? That's what I'd like to know as well. Like, what were some of your top games, your big sellers at the local level this year?
Big sellers were Spider-Man 2, Mario Wonder, and I think Resident Evil 4 Remake, and that was pretty much it.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. I kind of...
Nobody knocking on the door for Baldur's Gate or Starfield, eh?
No, I think... isn't that Baldur's just digital right now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, the physical, you're not getting that.
Starfield, we did have a guy trade in his entire collection for a Series X and Starfield.
God dang.
And I was like, all right, well, you're going to owe like, 150 or whatever. I'll come back tomorrow and bring the money. Okay. He comes back tomorrow and brings boxes and boxes. And I was like,
I hope he caught you at a good time and not when you're...
I really hope he liked that game, because he's probably kicking himself if he didn't.
Yeah, no, he came back and he was like, I love the game. It's the game I've always wanted. He loves space games. So that was like the ultimate game for him, was Starfield.
Nice.
I thought, 2023 had some pretty good games, some lineups and everything, but for me, not really many games hit. So, like, personally,
right.
Mario 4 Remake, I'm all over that game. I still love that game. That blew me away. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was, because it's a remake.
VR,
and
man, it's just sick in VR. Sick.
Yeah, I have it. It's crazy. I had to stop playing it after a few hours, but crazy.
The VR mode for that game is only on PlayStation, though, correct?
The VR, yeah. It's only on PlayStation right now for that one. I don't know. It's just, I played a lot of games this year. I played a lot more games this year than I think the previous year, but nothing really hit. Like, I played Redfall. Played for like 4 hours. I was like, and I played it on PC, so I was playing it in 60 FPS and all that stuff. But it just got tedious after 4 hours. Like, we're playing it, we're going back and forth, and I'm like, guys, I'm just done. We're just finished with this. What? Like, nope, I'm done. So,
Yeah, good old Redfall. You had to bring that up, didn't you?
Kind of need something like Gears of War or something. I was waiting for that, and who knows? Maybe we'll get that
Well,
later
that might
this
be
year.
in
I
the
don't know.
predictions. How about you, Anthony? Where would you say 2023 ranked in terms of your game scale? I mean, 2007 was regarded by many to be one of the best years ever, but that's going back a ways now. So what about 2023? There was a lot of heavy hitters this year. There was so many this year that like the Game of the Year nominees were actually one of the toughest, I think, in a long time, I'd say.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think 2023 for me started out a little bit stronger because in my like lane of survival horror, I really enjoyed kind of what I was getting back to back between, Callisto Protocol, Dead Space, and then Resident Evil 4 kicking off the year, in a few months back to back was really exciting because I was able to play. Obviously, two of those are remakes and they weren't like, completely original games, but one of them was. But and even though Callisto did have a lot of problems, I still did enjoy it. But I thought that I don't think that this was like anything compared to 2007, 8, or 9. In my opinion, I think we're very far from those years of when I feel like we were getting as much quality games. But I haven't played everything this year, so I can't really judge it on like everything that I played. I played, Mario Wonder. I thought that was really good. Towards the end of the year, that was fun. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I really enjoyed that. Still do, multiplayer wise.
Right.
Even though again that has problems too, but I still enjoyed some of that stuff. But I think definitely the beginning of the year was a lot more of a exciting time, and then it kind of fizzled out towards the end for me. I didn't really get too into Starfield or anything like that. I didn't really get into Call of Duty either. Didn't play Alan Wake 2. So there's a lot that I missed out on. But it was just like, it was more exciting for survival horror fans, I guess, more than any other genre that I'm into. So.
Gotcha. Nice. I didn't think I'd hear anybody say, what'd you say, Texas Chainsaw?
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw, and obviously Resident Evil 4 remake, like Perry. Like that's probably my game of the year.
So you got a thing for games with chainsaws, apparently.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Blood and
ladies with bags on their head.
Yes. Yeah.
Because there was the Bag twin sisters in Resident Evil, right? They both were carrying chainsaws last I checked.
Yep. Oh yeah, and we also got the Separate Ways DLC towards the end of the year, which was a really nice surprise. And for only $10, that was a really nice way to top off RE4. So I really look forward to that as well in the fall time. That was a really good surprise from Capcom to drop that. So
nice. Yeah, man, Capcom's been just pretty much killing it though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't wait to see what they have next.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're hyping up the stuff there.
Yo, man, how would you gauge 2023? Was it a really good year, kind of a meh year, forgettable year? How would you rate this past game year for yourself?
Well, I kind of like, I agree with Anthony. Like, like in the beginning, it started off really strong. Like, like with Resident Evil 4, Dead Space, like all that stuff, like just like starting off strong, and then just was like, all right, what else is there? Anything else coming out?
Yeah.
Like it was just like, all right. Like me personally, I'm a big multiplayer guy. Like, Call of Duty, Fortnite. I played Overwatch a lot. Like, like I don't play it that much anymore because I think Overwatch is kind of just like, but like for me, like, like when I played Call of Duty, like when that came out, I was like, all right, I'm paying $70 for a DLC. This is awesome. but yeah, like as I'm playing Call of Duty a little bit more and more, like it's just like, I've been playing Call of Duty like since like Modern Warfare 2, like the original one. And it's just like it's not terrible now, ? It's all right. They released like some cool skins and everything,
right?
But and also like with Fortnite too, like they just released like the like before they released like the OG, like going back to season 1. Like I thought that was really cool, like the way they did that. Like I wish they did that more, like they put that on a little bit longer. But yeah, as far as like like just like actual like gaming titles that like non-multiplayer titles, like I feel like we kind of just there wasn't that much. I feel like we got like maybe a few games. It's like, all right, this is great, and then we got nothing. We like afterwards, it's just like, dang, really? Like, come on, guys.
Honestly, for myself, 2023 was a pretty good year overall. I mean, it was a pretty strong year, and most of the games that that I actually picked up or played, I would say lived up to the majority of expectations, depending on where your expectations were. That's kind of like Coolcat Terri said. because, like, honestly, two of my favorite games I played this year, one was actually from 2022, and that was Callisto Protocol, which actually blew me away. I went in with that game with modest expectations, especially after the reviews, and played it and loved every minute. I couldn't put it down. I was so enthralled in that game, and I actually enjoyed some of the mechanics of the game because stuff got up in your face and it got intense.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. And then, of course, obviously just picked it up this year, but it's last year's game, and that is RoboCop, right? And I was saying to Terry prior to the show coming on, I've been playing it, and I can't say enough good about it. First of all, it comes from a much smaller studio who didn't spend $200 million to make this game. The biggest part of their budget was probably getting Peter Weller and Nancy Allen and some of the voice and facial actors to come back and reprise the role. But the graphics are absolutely astonishing. Outside of some of the animation, which is a little bit stiff and, 10 years old animations kind of thing when people are talking, kind of reminds you of some of the old Bethesda games. But, other than that, like, the game is just solid. It plays awesome. You really feel like you're RoboCop, hearing his footsteps, perfectly mimicked. The environments, the mission structure, everything else. It's just awesome. Even just going around and giving people parking tickets as RoboCop. It's freaking awesome. You're upholding the law, right? And you get these little points for all that shit, right? Which you spend on your upgrades. But even the upgrading way they do it in this game doesn't feel obtrusive, and it doesn't feel like you kind of know where you're going with your upgrades. Unlike a lot of action games now, which kind of they make upgrading so complicated and bewildering. Half the time you don't know what you should be upgrading, what you should be getting rid of, because everything, no color-coded bullshit. I am so tired of games that got pinks, yellows, reds, blues to signify every fucking weapon, right? Like, let's get away from some of these trends, guys. Seriously. Like, just get rid of that stuff. It's starting to get really annoying, at least for me, because I like my game simple. I like to get in. I like to get wrapped up into a story and then get out. I don't want to get wrapped up. That's what I think with open world games is you start going, you build some momentum, and then you get sidetracked with 500 other like little petty shit. And then all of a sudden you kind of lose interest in the whole game because you're like, you can't even remember where you're at. Sometimes you're like, oh, what was I doing again? You take 2 days off, you can't remember the controls. And so, but anyway, it was a good year. I mean, Baldur's Gate, Mario Wonder, Spider-Man 2, even Sony dropping this DLC now for God of War, which is pretty cool. Bonus, and they didn't charge you for it. Wow, right? Unbelievable. Sony didn't charge you for something. And all that sort of stuff. We got to see some cool stuff this year. Like I said, there was Resident Evil 4, the remake started off the year hot. And I always feel bad for games that come out within the first couple of months of the year because they always sort of get forgotten about. But at the same time, if they don't come out within the first quarter of the year, a lot of those games won't sell because they go up against the heavy hitters, which come out around Christmas. And God knows how many people try to avoid the old Call of Duty conundrum. But two of my biggest disappointments 2023 was Forza Motorsport. Definitely a step back. Sorry, guys. I know people love it, and I still love Forza. I still like the new game. Don't get me wrong. But they did drop the ball. This is not the game I expected after this long of waiting. I think number 7 was better than this game. And obviously, the Redfall was a bit disappointing, and definitely, what else was disappointing this year for me? I forget. I had it on the tip of my tongue, but I forget. But anyway, let's move on to 2024, shall we? Let's move the needle. Let's get into it. 2024. So we're talking about the big 3. I can't speak for the PC side of the realm because I don't really deal with it, okay? But a lot of the games that are on PC are also on console, et cetera, et cetera. So kind of it's all part of the conundrum. But on this podcast, we generally specialize with Xbox primarily, and then PlayStation and Nintendo. So yeah, we try to be fair where fair is due. We try to be honest and upfront. And that's one thing people have always respected, that I can play everything and enjoy everything. I'm not a fanboy that just gets off on one console. I love them all. I own them all. Just recently went and dumped a bunch of money on a Nintendo Switch OLED again. Like, right? Go figure. But I couldn't wait to play Red Dead Redemption 2 on the go. I was like, man, I got to have that portable right there. One of the best games ever, Red Dead Redemption. But anyway, 2024. Let's start and move backwards. And let's start with Nintendo, right? Because Nintendo hasn't really given us a lot to chew on, have they? Sure, their first-party software is doing great. Their console is selling like gangbangers. But, it comes down to, they're almost in the driver's seat, but they're the quiet driver's seat. They're a quiet leader because it's like nobody really ever praises them up or talks shit about them half the time. It's just because, like, they always do stuff differently and get away with it. It's kind of weird. They go vice versa. But anyway, they've had a pretty strong year. Their console sales have not even they slowed somewhat, but I mean they're still kicking everybody's ass. It's just insane. So what do you guys think from Nintendo? And I'll let round table here. We'll let whoever wants to jump in. What do you expect from Nintendo this year? There's a lot of rumors about hardware being announced and launched. So where do we come in with that? Who wants to take the field here? Anybody?
I would say, I mean, for Nintendo, I think it's time for them to at least show us something, because I feel like with the Switch, where that hardware is at, besides the OLED stuff, I feel like it's kind of hitting its last days. I mean, it's kind of been on its way out in a long time in terms of the performance. I mean, I know it's selling and it's moving and people are playing it and enjoying it, and that's fine, but it's been struggling to run these games. Like, there's no reason why I should have to stream Resident Evil 7 and Village and 2 and 3 remake on a Nintendo console. I should be able to play it natively.
Yeah.
We need to have this update, soon. So I would hope that Nintendo doesn't have, they're not scared. They're not like, hopefully they can come out with something that is confident in saying, hey, we're going to keep, the Switch going. We're going to keep that built-in install base, but we're going to also bring in this, new console, which can probably play the old Switch games, I'm sure, and also just present something that can run Call of Duty, right? Because we know that Microsoft's playing nice with Nintendo. They want Call of Duty back on that machine. So we need something that is a lot more amped up and on steroids, basically, compared to what the Switch has been, and its old hardware has been definitely showing the last few years. So I would really hope Nintendo gets a little bit more confident and also just announces this thing already, because we need something new, something that isn't an OLED, something that isn't, like we don't need more Mario Kart bundles on Black Friday. We need to actually get this thing moving.
With software that isn't 5 years old and they're still trying to bundle it in to sell consoles, it's like, I mean, that's kind of a good thing and bad thing, but it's kind of weird. Perry, I'm going to go to you on this one next, just because, again, being in a shop and stuff and seeing lots of Nintendo Switch hardware, look, it's pretty well, like I said, it's a no-brainer that they're going to come up with something sooner than later at this point, because momentum's starting to slow. They're starting to see it get a little stagnant. And again, developers are kind of pushing on them a little bit too. Like, if you want us to bring the biggest and best games to your platform, you got to give us more to work with, because there's too many compromises being made to get these games to run. And at the end of the day, I mean, it's great that, you're trying to get some of these games to run on it, and it's a miracle that some of them do. But nobody really wants to go spend $80 on a game that kind of runs like dog shit in comparison to its competitors, right? I mean, it gets away with it simply because it's portable. Now, like I said, Red Dead Redemption is an exception to the rule, because Red Dead Redemption is also based on 360 PS3 hardware, which is a little closer to the Switch equivalent overall, but certainly not anywhere close to Red Dead Redemption 2 visuals and aesthetics and stuff like that. So do you think Nintendo is going to stick with the SD card format? If they do, will they also stick with the portable? Because I don't think they can go back to a traditional console anymore, because I think it's too risky for them. If they're not going to directly compete with Xbox and Sony, I think that's a big risk. I don't think they want to alienate all the people that just bought a Switch. So what do you think they do there? Do you think they kind of keep it like that, but just beef it up and make the hardware run better games?
There's a couple of things. There's now a flash card coming out for the Switch, which I think that's going to play a major role in, we're going to get the Switch 2 or whatever they call it sooner than later.
Right.
Because if that whole security system is compromised, they got to jump into something new. Because that's it. That's going to break it all open, and they're going to announce something to counter that. That's number one. Sure. Number two, do they go all digital because of this flash cart for the new machine? That's going to be another situation. So Nintendo is in a spot now. I don't think they anticipated this flash cart coming out. I mean, it's coming out this month.
Yeah, but they probably would want to keep their the card drive for the back compatible stuff, if they're going to do that, right?
If they're going to do backwards compatible. Now, what I'm hearing is, from all these reports and these leaks and everything, they want to keep the Switch out there, kind of like how you had the DS and then they had the 3DS. Yeah. So you're going to have, the Switch isn't going anywhere, but the new one might come out right by it, like right next to it. So again, we don't know what they're going to do. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But I'm following that, and I'm interested in seeing where they go, because they definitely need new hardware. Everything Anthony said was true.
But see, that's the funniest part, right? Because Nintendo doesn't need a whole lot of new hardware to run their games because
Yeah,
their
not their
games have
games.
never pushed the envelope. It's
Yep.
the third-party guys who are crying out for this thing to be better because their games are obviously suffering, or a lot of developers didn't even put a game on their hardware simply because they have to make too many concessions to make it even run.
I think if Nintendo, this Xbox versus PlayStation thing, that could all end tomorrow if Nintendo just dropped the money, made a 4K box or a 4K portable, whatever. I know the portable will cost a lot of money, but if they made a 4K box, they would have all the third parties. They have the best first party. They'd be ready to rock and roll. You wouldn't even hear Xbox or PlayStation. Everyone would be all Nintendo again. Because I grew up a Nintendo guy.
Yep.
But then I play everything, so I get everything and I enjoy all of it. So, But Nintendo is always in a good position, but they're always in a weird position at the same time. So,
let me ask you one more question in relation to Nintendo. I mean, we're not really. What's some of their big games on the docket this year? Does anybody recall of anything? I mean, Mario Wonder's been out now. What are some of the big games?
I'm waiting for Metroid Prime 4. It'll never come out, but I'm waiting for it.
But let's just say theoretically for the new Zelda game. I mean, Tears of the Kingdom just came out. Obviously, was a front runner for Game of the Year, one Game of the Year in some avenues. Are we done with traditional Zeldas unless they're remakes at this point? Do you think Nintendo will stray away from the Breath of the Wild style formula now, or is this kind of a set thing now where they're just going to go with it? Instead of, every other Zelda game up until these two was very different from the ones before it. Wind Waker to Ocarina of Time. I mean, Ocarina of Time, I suppose, and what was it, Majora's Mask were very similar, but everything else after that was very different. I mean, you look at an amazing remake of Link's Awakening. That was phenomenal, but it went back to the old, Studio 3D, 2D downscale kind of view. So do you think that's what we can expect now? Is they're just going to keep running with the Breath of the Wild formula because it sold so well and it's scored so well? Because I'm kind of hoping not. I hope they kind of go back to more of a traditional, less open worldy kind of Zelda, but I don't see it happening. What do you think?
I would love a remake of A Link to the Past. That's my favorite Zelda game.
Well, what's the one? Oh no, it was a Link's Awakening. Sorry, that's the one I meant
right.
to say.
That one came out. That was the Game Boy one, but I want the one on the Super Nintendo.
Right.
They got to remake that one. I think they'll stick with the current formula, but they'll add more gimmicks to it. Like Tears of the Kingdom had a lot more mechanic gimmicks. Like I always joke on the podcast, you got to be an engineer to play that game. Whereas I'm used to Zelda with the sword and the shield and everything, and Zelda has evolved into its own thing now, and it's
right.
I feel like I've been left behind. I tried it, but I'm like, what is this? To me, it's not Zelda, but people love it. So
you know what? Nintendo could fix it for me with one thing in the options: turn off the breaking weapons. That's it. Turn off the breaking weapons, and that's it. I'm sold. That's all they got to do. One little freaking option in the main. Breaking weapons or not, play it the way you want to play it. Don't be forced to think outside the bun. Every time you're in the middle of trying to kill a freaking enemy, shit's breaking. Because it'd be different if you could go like 30.
Nintendo though, you got to play the way they want you to play it. That's
it'd be different if you could go 30 or 40 enemies and something broke. But this shit's breaking on you. Kill like 2 guys, and you're like, oh, gotta go get another sword. It's like throwing rocks at you now in the middle of heated battle. Starting to get like Resident Evil, and you're running out of ammo, and you're trying to switch to like 40 different guns. Like, oh, come on. Not to mention, it's funny, that Link in the old games could run around like crazy. Now he can't even swim across like 20 feet of water. Guys, man, that dude's got to take some swimming lessons or some stamina. The guy's got to work out or something. He can kill enemies, but he can't swim or climb anything for more than like 30 seconds. Like, come on, dude. Even my fat ass can climb something more than 30 seconds. Right? Real quick, we got a couple of super chats. We want to get those out of the way first before we come back to the conversation, which is dynamite, by the way. Doggy Dog is the first guy who drops in here tonight, and he shows us some love with $1.99 super chat. Coolcat Terri, you can do the honors tonight.
Happy New Year, new panel and chat. Cheers, fam.
Well, cheers to one of the best supporters on my channel and out there in period. Doggy Dog is amazing. If you guys aren't acquainted with him, get him on your show. He's awesome. He's an energy bug. He's a lot of fun. Doggy Dog. And we got a good supporter as well, RWK88, $1.99.
Nice panel. Fire.
There you go. Fire. 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 See? Link sets lots of fires too. Alrighty, good stuff. let's move down here and get Fred's opinion in. Fred, what do you expect from Nintendo here, man?
Well, I'm just hoping that they can start keeping up with Microsoft and Sony. Like I just feel like if it's like a race, like Sony and Microsoft have been like this, and then Nintendo has just been all the way back here. They just haven't been just like Anthony said, the hardware is just not up to date. I was watching Perry's stream of Mortal Kombat, and that was just absolutely terrible. I was just watching that. I was just like, is that an actual game? Is that I thought Perry was just joking at first. I was like, wow, that's terrible. But no, if you play Mario Wonder or any of the Mario games, they run beautifully. They run like I was a big Smash player, that. A couple years ago, I used to go tournaments, stuff like that. That game, I love Smash. That game runs beautifully. The graphics look great. But it's just all the third party games just all look like dog crap. It's just it's just not fair, I would like to know. I played actually. I tried Fortnite on the Switch because my friend's little brother had it, and that was bad. I was ice skating around the whole map. It was not fun. But yeah, I just want hopefully they
but it definitely looks a lot lackluster compared to its competitors.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. But yeah, I just wish that hopefully they can make better hardware. Put some good third party games on there. And hopefully the next generation is good. Hopefully, see what happens.
I hope so too. A little stick drift. I'm pretty sure they're going to continue with motion controls as well because that's one of their shticks now. That sort of thing. So, games wise, they're going to have the usual. I'm pretty sure for the next gen, and they're not going to look too far off of what they are now. Then they're probably going to run at a better frame rate. They're probably going to have high resolutions. But I'm pretty sure when it comes to Nintendo, you're going to expect the stalwarts, the Mario Karts, the Marios, the Zeldas. They're bread and butter games, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing because it obviously sells for them, and that's what's literally kept Nintendo afloat, right? But their audience is whether you're 40 years old or you're 55 years old or you're 10 years old. That's the thing with Nintendo games. They the nostalgia appeals to the older people, but they never lose that. That's something Nintendo games have never really lost. You go back and even play an NES game from Nintendo. Most of their stuff is still solid, especially their really good stuff. Like Mario 3 still plays and looks good today. It's a game you can still enjoy. You can't say that about a lot of old 8-bit and 16-bit games. Even if you go back and play a lot of the ones that you remember loving as a kid, they're dog shit now. You're like, what the fuck is this? I can't remember. I pumped so many hours on these games. They were terrible, right? The controls were horrible. There was bad save points, etc. No wonder everything was freaking hard. Everything was about jumping perfectly at a certain time and not falling into a hole, and everything was about muscle memory and memory in general. And I don't have enough memory now to even remember what I had for breakfast, let alone where all the holes and enemies are on a level. But anyway, I do digress. I'm getting off point, but hey, Nintendo, interesting year. Coolcat, what do you think for Nintendo? I mean, obviously, I know you're not the biggest Nintendo fan, but you do have to give them some credit. They've definitely been hugely supportive of the indie scene. I mean, their damn console has their console's got more indie games on it than the population of Ethiopia. Right? Seriously. Every time I turn the thing on, it's like I have to weed out all this stuff. It's like trying to pick a needle in a haystack. It's like, man, God, what's going on here? It's like every day there's another 20 of these things.
They also have a lot of shovelware.
That is true.
They're not they don't have any kind of what do you call it? Dang, I forgot the word, but quality control. That's it. Yeah. They don't have any quality control on what they're putting on there. They need to kind of, don't get as crazy as Apple is with their stuff, but at least be looking at it so you don't have all this crap on there that people, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I don't have expectations for Nintendo. I've kind of fallen off a long time ago. I mean, they had 0 games this year that I cared about. Last year they had 1, and I still haven't bought it because it's it's 1 game. It's so I don't know. It would be nice if they could I don't know, bring back some stuff that they don't really push, like Star Fox,
right.
I loved Star Fox. I mean,
yeah.
And they don't do anything with it other than he's a cameo figure now. What are you doing? So I don't know. They need to do something different, I've never been a Mario fan, so them introducing 20 more Mario games isn't going to get me to buy anything for Nintendo. It works for them because kids love Mario. He's iconic, but for someone like me, I couldn't give a flip for another Mario game. I haven't bought a Mario game outside of like my Mario Rabbids. You know, like a standalone Mario game. I don't buy them. I don't care less. So like, I don't know. I don't know. They need to do some. I don't know what to say about Nintendo other than it's
Right.
just, you know, they're boring. They're boring.
Right.
So, you know,
They
have
don't. Yeah,
they have
don't-
iconic characters. They just don't do anything with them.
Yeah.
You know, outside of throwing them in Smash Bros. And you know, and profiting that way, or I don't think they do it anymore. But you know, making these stupid little figures, you know, so they can profit off of them that way. Hey, you like that character? It's the only way you're gonna see it. You know, so like, come on. So you know, so like, screw Nintendo as far as I'm concerned. In this, they need to do something. They need to do something to, you know, to win me back, because they've been dead to me for over a decade. So screw them.
Not damn. No Nintendo love coming from Coolcat Terri. It's all cool. Everybody's entitled to opinions, and you know, I've always been kind of hit and miss with Nintendo. Obviously, a huge Nintendo fan as I grew up as a kid, but over the last few years, it kind of dwindled off a little bit. You know,
I hate the fact that Nintendo has been the gimmick company.
Right.
They're all nothing but gimmicks. Everything's a gimmick, and I can't take them seriously. You know, it's great for kids, but you know, you keep trying to act like you want to be like the you know, a company for the whole family. Then why are you still marketing to 5-year-olds?
I guess that's the problem. You can't make Mario any cuter, even if you had a console that had 20 teraflops. Right?
Yeah, they're very stuck in their ways. Like Nintendo's very stuck in their ways. They like to keep. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's going to make money, let's just, you know, let's keep making the Pokemon games. Let's keep making the, you know, they keep, I agree with bringing some old stuff back, or maybe some other interest back, because it's kind of like, since, I mean, I own a Switch, but really it's been since like GameCube, since I was actually really on their machine. Like I didn't really have until after the fact. And that was like, you know, I played it at friends' houses and stuff, but I didn't get it until it was like hackable, basically, is when I ended up getting one. So it's like, it's just one of those things where like I see that point of like, it just needs to have some other interest, especially if they're going to push, you know, this new hardware, like having something that, you know, gains more interest than just the normal run-of-the-mill stuff that they've been doing for years. Even though I do, like I mentioned, I did like Wonder, but Wonder was the first Mario game I played in a long time, like where it was just Mario. So it's even for me, they kind of lose me on some of those like IPs that they have, you know.
Well, I loved Odyssey. I thought Odyssey was amazing. It was, to me, it was my favorite Mario.
That was good.
Mario Galaxy, like that was a trendsetter when it came out on the Wii. Mario Galaxy 2 was amazing, but like Odyssey was just like, it took a lot of the stuff you loved about Galaxy and just expanded on it. And I really loved that game. I thought it was well done. Very, very intuitive kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we got a few more super chats. Let's catch up with those first before they kind of head off into oblivion. We got one coming in from Splendiferous, who drops $2. Go ahead, Terry.
What up with all the link hate, Noof? Don't like owls?
We got another one coming in from our good friend of the show, Sir X-Man. He drops $2.
Tetris versus Candy Crush. Choose your poison.
Very nice. And last Splendiferous coming back in hot and heavy again with another $2.
All right. Happy New Year, Beaches and Terry. No love lost, guys.
And then Sir X-Man comes back in again. It feels like a game of poker. $2.
Nintendo uses Jedi mind tricks on people. Facts.
That is true. Look, I'm just going to cap it off and say this. Here's a couple things. Look, I know Nintendo's going to go with a more powerful version of the Switch. I think that's almost a given. If they're going to stay with what they know, that's the thing with Nintendo. They don't stray too far from the formula. Here's a couple things I would like to see from Nintendo. The first one, I'm pretty sure everybody on the planet feels the same way. Nintendo, if you're going to charge for your online, get with the times. Please make it a little more intuitive and easier for friends to add each other and send a message or an invite or a party chat system or something. At least give us that so we can enjoy it. So, you know, the fact is pretty sad that when community game nights happen, we got to get everybody over on the Xbox or the PlayStation in a party chat so we can talk to ourselves on the Switch games. It's kind of that's literally what we do. We get an Xbox party and play the Switch games for community game nights. That's what's been going on. Like, isn't that kind of like, you know, you want to bring people together. I mean, I get Nintendo's scared to death of people complaining because they're known as a kids company and parents are going to complain that, you know, they heard foul language, but you're going to get that no matter where you're at. You know, we're in a day and age now where, you know, they just got to have certain restrictions around it or something. They'll figure out a way. They're smart enough to do that, but bring the online into the fucking 22nd century, 21st century, whatever hell century we're in. Bring that up to date. Second of all, Nintendo, it wouldn't hurt for you guys to go out on a limb and make some games that are a little more centric for your 40-year-old crowd, the people that grew up on your platform, but like take a risk, make a IP. You have the money, you have the resources, make an IP that has photorealistic graphics to show that you are more than just the Mario and Zelda company at this point. You know what I mean? I get it, you're going to have your stalwarts, but can you not hire a studio to build something that isn't Mario, Zelda, or something related? They kind of went out with Splatoon, right? Splatoon was kind of a big risk, and it paid off. They done well with that game, but again, it's cartoony. Like no one's remember when Nintendo on the GameCube when you had Eternal Darkness? I think it was not like a rated M game.
Eternal Darkness was awesome,
right?
I mean, that's how you do it. I was just
See?
about to say that when you said that, I just immediately thought of Eternal Darkness
So-
because that was a good risk that worked.
They can do this stuff. And here's another possible option that, because Nintendo and Xbox have a pretty tight-knit thing together, and this could work mutually beneficial. If Xbox doesn't have the resources to make these so-called IPs that we've been asking for, maybe co-license them over to Nintendo and get them to do it. Could you imagine Nintendo brings back Conker for Nintendo? Nintendo builds one. Okay, an R-rated or an M-rated Conker game, or they bring back Banjo-Kazooie. It's built by Nintendo, but it's licensed by Xbox. If Xbox doesn't want to do it, maybe Nintendo wants to throw their hat back in the ring. I mean, they obviously license out the characters for use in Smash Bros. I can't see it entirely being outside the realm. Nintendo would make a boatload of money. Xbox would profit off of amazing sales, especially in Japan. Think about that, right? Over in those countries where Xbox can't sell worth of shit, they can't even give these things away with a free pack of French fries. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is, but sales are abysmal.
Yeah.
It's everywhere but North America. It's like, what is wrong with people? Nobody likes Xbox anywhere but North America. It's really, really weird. At least that's what it feels like. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like, I'd like to just see Nintendo get a little, like, they have nothing to lose at this point. Nintendo's going to coast on through. They're always going to be sort of like the top tier in terms of like where they go with the consoles because they appeal to everybody, but they're not sort of going to be the number one in our hearts. And I see this all the time. When I fire up my Switch, I got a ton of friends on my Switch, but you know what? I bet you at any one time there's like 2 people on, and most people, like, their hours played of any of these games are like next to nothing. Outside of the odd person with like a Breath of the Wild or a Monster Hunter or something like that kind of game, nobody's playing this thing. It's literally like it's the party system. Like when your friends come over and you crack open a couple of beers and you fire up the old Nintendo Sports or something like that.
Yep.
Like that's kind of where it's been, or Mario Party. But for me, like that's almost where it's been. When my buddies come over, they do like to Switch for that kind of stuff. But for hardcore, just sitting in your bedroom and getting down to the nitty gritty, Nintendo is not where it's at because it doesn't give us the best options. It gives us great Mario games, but for third party, like Xbox is going to change this scenario because when Xbox drops a Call of Duty game on the Switch, even if they got to use an old engine, but make their own version for the Switch, it's going to sell like gangbusters, I think.
I think so too, and I think you're right. Like Nintendo has to have some of that grit again, because even with look at Resident Evil Remake from 2002. I mean, that game still looks great to this day. Yes. You play it on like a CRT, hook it up to an old GameCube, looks amazing. RE4, I mean, that just says, I mean, obviously, yeah, it came out on PS2 later that year, but man, I put hours and hours and hours. My GameCube was on for so long. I'm surprised I didn't burn it out just for playing those games. And yeah, that they're able to kind of dip their toe into that lane and still have, different things. Like they had, what was that game on Wii? Mad World, or it was something, it was like, where it was all bloody and stuff. It was like comic book-esque, right? Stuff like that. It's like, there has to be some kind of new thing and also like a ecosystem that keeps people on, especially with the online thing that you brought up, because that's a good point. Like the online thing, like what you end up spending most of your hours playing for online is always going to be an Xbox or PlayStation, or if you're on PC, it's going to be on a PC, because there's just, it's so like the friend code, no part, like it's just tumbleweed floating around on that thing. As far as online, I feel like only a select amount of people really get into it, unless they're, if they're hardcore Nintendo fans, they'll pay whatever to play, I guess, Smash Online or something else. But I don't know. I just feel like there needs to be some kind of updates as well. Like that was a really good thing to bring up, because they're very behind on that.
Indeed. All right, like I said, I think the biggest question mark this year will come from Nintendo. We really don't know what to think about them because, again, other than their what do you call it, their little game things that they do every once in a while, and usually when they do them, it's not a whole lot of games they preview in the future. A lot of times it's games that are like within the launch window, and they kind of hype them up a little bit. So Nintendo's the wild card here. It's anybody's guess, but like I said, Nintendo is the safest bet. Like they're going to be successful no matter what. As a matter of fact, their next console is going to be super successful because of the Switch success. People are immediately gonna like associate that and carry it over. The Wii U was an anomaly for them, and I think the Wii U was just it was a bad timing. It was ahead of the curve, with the whole the console controller kind of deal in your hand, which I thought was cool. But I mean, well, look, PlayStation's doing it now and making a fortune on it. Everybody's copying what Nintendo did like 10 years ago. But yeah, so Nintendo, like I said, they'll be fine regardless. But I think it's safe to say they're going to have better, newer hardware that hopefully, gets people more invested. But really, it's up now to the third parties to bring it. It's up to Nintendo to give them hardware that they can actually, sink their teeth into a little bit. Hopefully they're talking closely with some of the bigger tech companies that kind of give them some things to go on. Like we're going to need this minimum spec to get stuff to run properly. We saw Xbox do that in the past where they reached out to devs and said, what kind of kit do you want to see from us to make at least sort of your minimum requirement kind of a deal. That's where the Xbox One X kind of generated from back a couple years ago. But anyway, let's move on and let's start with the PlayStation now. Let's move over to that conversation. PlayStation had sort of I'd say up until Spider-Man this year was a little bit flat. They did come out early with Final Fantasy 16, which did okay, but it seemed like the hype around that game died almost as quick as that game came out. Like people were
Fans
playing
were
it
pissed
for the first week, and then it was like
yeah.
That game didn't even have to get nominated for nothing. I was like,
No.
This is Final Fantasy we're talking about, and Square Enix was pissed because their numbers were flat. Now they're even considering like, should we start putting more of our games on the Xbox or other places because $200 and $300 million investments are just not getting the return when you're only selling 3 million copies of a game. What do you guys think about that? What do you expect out of PlayStation's camp this year? Obviously, they just released their slim versions of their console. Console sales are selling well for PlayStation, which is odd because it doesn't matter what big games they got out right now. They're just rolling on momentum. I mean, even that PlayStation Portal sold freaking well, and that thing's not even a console. That was just a damn screen to send over games to. So where do you see PlayStation in all of this? What's coming down the pipe? We kind of got a bit of a roadmap from the leaks about Wolverine and stuff, but what else is coming from these guys? They got a lot of studios that have been kind of semi-quiet. I mean, we know what Insomniac essentially is doing. They got The Last of Us 2 coming out at the start of the year, the remake. But again, it's a remake, so I don't know. And it's other companies that have been kind of quiet. We got Sucker Punch. Who else is in their bunch here? But anyway, who wants to take this one away? Who's a big PlayStation guru on this panel here? Wow.
I don't know.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But you guys all got PlayStations, obviously.
Yeah, we all got PlayStations. Yeah. I mean, I would say for PlayStation, like, I think for this year, yeah, it definitely seemed a little flat. Besides Spider-Man 2, and I haven't even played that. And we were talking about Spider-Man a little bit earlier about how like the newer games might not be as they don't feel as. I mean, I do like the newest one. Miles Morales was the last one I played, so I guess that would be the latest one before 2. So I played those two, and they were fun, but I don't really have a lot that makes me turn that machine on. It's next to my Series X, and I do enjoy it, but this year I didn't find myself. The only time I did actually go back and mess with it a little bit was when Twisted Metal came over on the store, and I was replaying that on the PS5, getting some trophies. Like there was some motivation there. I went back and played, Twisted Metal Black a little bit because I have that on the backwards compatible stuff. So I played the PS5 a little bit this year, but not as much as I probably would have thought, just because, and again, I didn't really get into Ragnarok, so I didn't play the DLC. Like, I don't want to seem like I'm ignorant to what Sony has put out, but they definitely, for me, like this past year, while I've seen their service, try to grow a little bit to try to compete with Game Pass, I would say for like them up and coming, I mean, they have to have a little bit more bang for the buck as far as the online subscription stuff, because I know that they might be flourishing with their, you know, their accessories. The PSVR 2 and the portable, like you mentioned, is selling well, but you know, we got to have a little bit more IPs come back from Sony that we haven't seen. I mean, where's Siphon Filter? Where's SOCOM? Where is, you know, where's Twisted Metal? I mean, where is
Jumping
it?
Flash.
Like, Jumping Flash. Yeah, that one's for Perry, definitely. I mean, that's I just don't know kind of what their mindset is going towards, you know, even like with the PSVR pricing at that high is really, they do have some balls, and they know people will pay it, and that's fine if people paid it. And I know it's, you guys enjoyed it, Perry and Noof, you guys have been enjoying the VR too, and I want to play it too, because I have an RE channel. I want to play it for people, but I can't really justify that price right now. And I know that, like, you know, we just got the Slim and stuff like that, you know, whatever you want to call it, with the separate disk drive and stuff. But, you know, it wouldn't surprise me, because of, obviously this is all speculation, but with another, you know, pro console potentially coming out, it wouldn't surprise me if they announce something like that this year. And maybe they'll have something else to accommodate it on a release. But again, it's like, if you're putting out another console that's supposed to be like another mid-gen refresh, what are you refreshing us for? What games are you making us buy this console again for, when you just had people buy the Slim, you know? So, which I didn't buy, you know, I just stayed with my normal disk drive one. But you know, I really don't know where they could go next as far as like this year, because now with all the leaks that came out, we're just kind of like waiting to see what, you know, what's next on the other side of the developers on their end. So I'm not sure, but it definitely was a very lackluster year, in my opinion, from just an outside perspective, is owning these consoles, not really playing much of a Spider-Man 2 or God of War Ragnarok, I guess, because that's the DLC that came out.
Gotcha. Got a couple more super chats coming in. Let's get to those real quick. We got our good friend Sir X-Men. He drops another $2. Go ahead, Terry.
Nintendo should make new version of 1080 snowboarding. That was a fantastic game, by the way.
Yes, and see, he has a great point, right? That was a beloved N64 title, a launch title at that people loved, and like, why don't they bring back something like that to at least diversify the lineup a little bit? That's the kind of game with newer graphics and upgraded play controls could bring in some of the older audience and feel like, okay, you are making some games that appeal to us that don't have Mario, Link, or whoever in the title. So that's a great point, and Nintendo should revisit making some of that stuff as well. He comes back again, Sir X, with another $2. He's going to be broke by the end of the show. Thanks, Sir X, man. Go ahead.
Okay, I wanted a Colony Wars 2 from Sony one day. Unless he meant day one, I'm not sure.
Got it. Well, I think Sony is probably going to give you Colon Wars. Because they ain't got shit happening. You know what they say? Never trust a proctologist who wears really thick glasses. You know why? Because apparently they can't see shit. Hey, all right. Just keep it coming. I'm here on that, baby. All right. Where were we? Sony. All right, Sony.
Yes.
Do you guys think as well that one of the things that, I mean, obviously the ABK thing, and Jim Ryan kind of made it perfectly clear that they're definitely concerned about where the roadmap leads for them, because look, they're going to get Call of Duty for the next while. Call of Duties are still going to sell like gangbusters. Obviously, Sony's worried that Xbox is going to gimp their titles and they're going to look and run worse. I don't see Xbox doing that at all. They're going to try to make sure there is parity across the board, I definitely think. Now, the marketing will definitely fall to Xbox. I think, you know, moving forward, you're going to see commercials and ads and banners and console boxes and pack-ins and bundles and Game Pass stuff with Call of Duty. It's going to be everywhere. They're going to play up their biggest franchise. I mean, no offense to Halo, but Call of Duty now is going to be the biggest flagship title under the Microsoft Xbox banner, right? Moving forward. And they're going to play that up. They know what they're on, which is why Sony did not want to. Sony didn't care about the rest of the ABK deal. They were concerned about Call of Duty, because outside of Fortnite and Call of Duty, you look at the stats right now that just came out. What's the number one games played on PlayStation? And basically universally, it's Call of Duty, Fortnite, FIFA, right? It's not God of War. It's not Spider-Man. If you look at all the countries, it's always those multiplayer games. And I'm not saying it's much different from the Xbox either.
Sure.
The fact of the matter is, Xbox gets to pull the strings now. They are the puppet masters, right? and they can use this to their advantage. And don't think for a moment they won't. They're going to plow Game Pass to people with the advantage. Again, all the Call of Duty titles in there, full servers, the whole works under that banner. But that was one of the biggest. Actually, that's the one I forgot. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, to me personally, was a big disappointment this year. I even got rid of my game. I don't even have a copy of it now. I honestly thought just like missed the boat. I don't know what the hell they did there, but just not the Call of Duty game I was expecting, especially on the pedigree of Modern Warfare 1 and 2, which I thought was much better. Yeah. Anybody else also kind of annoyed that now when your friends are playing Call of Duty on your Xbox console, it just says Call of Duty?
Yep.
You don't even know what game they're playing now.
Yep.
Just Call of Duty.
It's the Call of Duty app. It's great.
Jump in to a game. You might not even be able to join them because they're probably playing. You could be playing Modern Warfare 1, 2, or 3, but it just says Call of Duty, so you never really know until you jump in to find out. And then you go, I'm playing the game.
It's the Call of Duty tumor. It's just like filled with like sorts of crap.
It's the Call of Duty tumor. It's got to pop it down. Go ahead. All right. But anyway. So I think that's a big factor moving forward. Sony's definitely running scared, and they're obviously trying to now, I think this is where they're going to start compiling their money and try to get a developer to really make a competitor. They need something in their own camp that's going to make them big money. But again, that's a huge gamble. There is nothing out there that's going to guarantee success. I mean, they already have Bungie and they have Destiny, which is a pretty damn big title on its own, right? But how they manage that moving forward is going to be huge. They either can stockpile it, they either can take this and run with it and make something amazing, and let the Bungie talent at Bungie really, bring something to life, or maybe get them to do a new project, because that wouldn't be a bad idea either. I'm pretty sure Bungie's sitting there going, we don't want to be doing Bungie forever, or we don't want to be doing Destiny forever. I'm sorry. But they're sitting sort of on a gold mine. Still one of the best first-person shooter developers in the industry, right? Big pedigree. So they're sitting on that. But where else did they go? What did they bring back? You mentioned earlier, Anthony, things like SOCOM and Siphon Filter. If they do those right and they get the right companies behind them, but that's the problem. Sony feels like they're afraid to invest on anything right now. They feel like if they don't make a third-person action-adventure story-based game, like they're not willing to do anything. That's what it feels like. I mean, the fact that they spent how many years building that factions and cancel it now? That's
unbelievable.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Even hardcore Sony guys literally they're shitting bricks. They're like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Why this long to cancel it now? Is it that terrible? You guys can build a story game, but nobody over there is talented enough to make a multiplayer? It's weird.
Yeah. And even the first Last of Us had actually some pretty interesting and fun multiplayer. It was very challenging, but they could have made that, expanded on that, and made it a lot more fun, and just have it something, a complete separate entity. I wasn't surprised when I saw that it was completely done for good. But at the same time, I was just like, come on, you guys should have just pulled the plug a lot, many years ago if it was going to take this long and you were going to invest so much money into this thing. And yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Sony is in many ways similar to Nintendo, where they're kind of stuck in their ways in their own kind of lanes. I feel like where they just don't want to take a new attempt at something because it could fail. And obviously, as a business, as a, you put a risk out every time, not knowing if this, either if it's an old IP or bringing something back, or maybe making something new. But sometimes, I don't know, we need to switch it up a little bit, or obviously go back to things that, listen to your fan base, actually listen to what they're saying, because they might not just want another third person action adventure again. I just think it's tiresome sometimes with some of the decisions they make,
All right, jump in, guys. What do you think from Sony this year? What comes out? What's going to be their big game on the docket? How do they keep the momentum rolling? Consoles are selling good, but like I said, their roadmap looks a little stingy this year.
Yeah.
I think since they got rid of Jim Ryan, I don't think they know where they're going. I think they're restructuring and they're trying to figure out what they're doing. But, I mean, they canceled all those live service games, apparently, from what we're hearing. I think that was their roadmap. I don't know. I want the old Sony to come back where everything was fun and there were tons of different genres of games. Like PS1 and PS2, you had Parappa the Rapper, you had Jumping Flash. All these games were different. It seems like we're still getting the spillover from the PS3 era onto the 5, because PS3 controversial. Nobody really bought it at first. People eventually did buy it. People jumped from 360 to PS4. They said, great, these people didn't play our PS3 stuff.
Yeah.
PS3 spills over to PS4. Now the 5, we're still getting that spillover, and it's like, can we get variety back, please? When it was fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no excuse that we shouldn't have a Twisted Metal VR for VR2. The show is popular. It's an awesome show. We all loved it, by the way. Jumping Flash VR, why not? I know it's a crazy game, but why not? People would get sick. They'd stream it. I don't know. It'd be like a viral sensation.
Well, I can tell you this right now. The logical thing to do for Sony, based on statistics, is Pornhub needs to make a VR game.
Whoa, I don't know.
They're behind on that. They got to get on that, you know? Team up with Oculus or someone.
Maybe
Not
it's like
wrong.
big knockers boxing or something like
Yeah.
that.
Might pull the cord out of the machine with that one. I don't know.
It'd be like Punch Out, but it's all these different, people coming out.
Well, that's where Nintendo's screwing up. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Just make it fun again. Call of Duty, the hell of Call of Duty. That's what is that? First person. So do SOCOM. That's what Sony was always great at.
SOCOM.
Maybe you don't do
SOCOM.
a first person, you do the third person SOCOM.
Right.
SOCOM was popular back in the day.
SOCOM
I worked
and
at
make it
Best
free to
Buy.
play.
And the guys would always, hey, after work, we're playing SOCOM for hours. These guys would just go out and buy SOCOM. Oh, you got a PlayStation 2? Oh, you don't have SOCOM? You want to play with us tonight? Just buy the game, whatever. I'll use my discount at work, whatever. We'll play the game online. SOCOM was popular. Go back. Go back to your library. Bring some of those games back. The hell with this third-person stuff. Keep that for a couple of new games that you have. Start bringing back the variety. Make it fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got the DualSense. What are you doing with it? Nothing.
Yeah.
Let's use it.
See, that's the thing, right? Like Sony just seem like they're just really afraid to gamble with anything, and maybe they just can't. Maybe they just don't have enough money to do it. But Microsoft has got enough cash that if they do have a couple of slips, they can probably get away with it. And that's another beauty of having so many studios now underneath the umbrella. So not everything has to be $200 million in a AAA game. They're going to have the big games. They're going to have the small games, everything in between. Some stuff's going to come out and it's going to hit. Some stuff is going to come out and miss. Some stuff is going to come out and be right in the middle. Kind of like Starfield, where people loved it and it set the world on fire for a little while, but then it kind of fizzled out real quick. But Starfield's going to have its audience. Since people love it, like I said, there's either people that love it or they kind of hate it. But needless to say, I think we can all admit that Starfield didn't come out with the kind of reception that they had wanted. Bethesda had wanted, and I think Xbox fans had hoped for. You know what I mean? But that doesn't degrade the fact that it's still not a fantastic game. Like I think it's great. I played a lot of hours in that myself. I haven't finished it, but I have played quite a bit of it, and I think it's a good game. There's no question. But again, just fell short of the mark for whatever reason, right? And it's become that game that, of course, competitors love to hate on because it had so much hype. And again, it was a game that technically was supposed to be a PlayStation game, but because it's not, the other crowd just loves to take shots at that game in particular, right? Wait till the next Elder Scrolls comes out. Woo!
Oh yeah.
They are already got the barrels ablazing on that one.
But all those people will just end up playing it for just as long as the last one. So like all the people that were hating on it will just end up playing it for 10 years and play all the versions that come out. It's like, I feel like a lot of people that, bitch about that stuff, they just end up playing it because they can't really deny it, at least for Elder Scrolls. Cause I know that like Starfield's a different story, but I know a lot of my friends that have just been all on Elder Scrolls. And like most of the time, those people that play those games are pretty dedicated, but even the people that bash on it, I feel like sometimes enjoy it on the low, even though they don't admit it. So.
Terry, how about you jump in here? You always got the big opinions on Sony. I mean, like their indie scene is good. It's very comparable to what Xbox got going on. But we also know one of the things this year that Sony fans are going to have to get used to is their new price structure as well. And I've been talking about this on Twitter today, of course, having a lot of people chew me out because I'm talking about how us Xbox Live Gold subscribers kind of really took it in the rump here from Xbox. Because with Gold, I'd pay $70, 12 months, right? I don't really care about the Game Pass and all the games you get day one and day two. It's never mattered to me. If I want a game, I've always told people to just go out and buy it. Don't worry about the economics. Well, if it costs more to buy the game, it's not about that. I'm a collector and I like the physical. If I really like a game, I go buy it, right? Okay, fair enough. But the bottom line is I was paying $69.99 to play my games online because that's the thing for me, to hang out with you guys, to play community game nights, to play games online. That's what I've always been paying for. It went from 39 Canadian to 49 Canadian to 59 Canadian to 69 Canadian. And guess what? Now they only have 3-month options on the back end that are $30 for 3 months. So over 12 months, that's $120 to play Xbox Live games for me now. Okay. I get it that Game Pass, if I get Ultimate, is cheaper. It's the better value. It's $18 Canadian. I got to go Canadian price, right? That's $18 a month to play anything and everything. Okay, great. That is the best value. That's hands down. I'm not even debating it. But still, $18 over the course of 12 months is how much? Like over $200 or something. So it starts to get up there. Then I'm a Sony subscriber, so I got to pay now $120 to play for their crap. PlayStation Plus. Again, I only want to play online. I don't really care about the free games they give me every month, although I will give them credit. They do give you some pretty damn awesome games with PlayStation Plus. They've been doing it for a while. So now I've got two people that basically to play 12 months, that's 120 each, just on the basic level for me, right? Because I have to go with core because the basic one is cheaper, but it doesn't give you the multiplayer. I'm like, what the... You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of pointless to even have
that other model is completely useless. I don't even see the point. Well, I'm a single player guy. It's just like clicking off. I play with myself and that's it. That's all I want. Okay, if that's what you want to play with your fucking self, then go ahead. I jerk off to that fucking Astro on Xbox. But you see my dilemma, right? Then I got to pay fucking $25 to have Nintendo Online for essentially what to play Mario Kart. There's virtually nothing else to play. Mario Kart or Smash Brothers. I mean, what else am I playing on the damn thing? Right? I bet you if you went into any other third-party multiplayer game on Switch and try to find a lobby, there's probably is none other than Fortnite. But that's a free-to-play game, right? You don't even need the $25 to play Fortnite. Okay, thank God Xbox was smart enough to get rid of that friggin' paywall. Thank God, right? We cried about that for years and finally got rid of it. Thank God. But that's where we're at, right? And this is not to mention, I've said this before, guys, and people shoot me out all the time. Well, no, if you don't, it's like, look, dude, I'm already paying for friggin' Spotify. I'm paying for this. I'm paying for that. Like all of these things together start adding up. And I'm not about little price increases, but going from $69.99 to $120, that's a pretty significant increase. And it's for what? I'm not getting a whole lot more from my money, essentially. What the Xbox Core gives me 25 games, about 10 of them I already own, and the rest is like Starve fucking Shit Valley and fucking Pick My Flowers. Like, who the fuck cares? I don't want to play that shit, right? I know Terry's up there. Stardew Valley was awesome. But you see my dilemma, right? And I'm always getting chewed out because everybody goes, "Oh, Game Pass is the best value gaming. You got to get with it, man. You'll save so much." I don't care about the saving fucking money part, man. I'm not a broke ass motherfucker, okay? Well, I wasn't broke in the 80s, 90s, or the 2000s. I will buy what I want when I want. I'm trying to keep guys like Perry over here in fucking business by buying fucking shit from the shop, okay? Period. Bottom line. But I do digress. You always get heated when I get the Game Pass discussion. But that's my whole point. I got to pay for all these fucking things now. And half of them is just like, what's the point? Like, something's got to give. One of these two has got to go. I guess I'm going to have to go with Xbox because all my friends are over there. So PlayStation, I'm sorry, but when my fucking shit runs up and I need to be renewed, you're probably not getting a renewal because what I want to play for? You don't even have factions coming out. What multiplayer games are on your console I can't play on Xbox? Right?
Yeah, or that's crossplay, right? Because that's the thing too. It's like, games that are crossplay. I'm the same way. Like, I don't have PlayStation Plus. I couldn't even tell you the last time I actually had it, but because it's just like I can't pay for like it's just like yeah, you can pay for a million services, but like you said, it does start to add up when you're paying for like the music services, and then you have all the streaming services that like I already try to download what I can for entertainment because I try not to sign up for 10 different services and pay the same for cable. So yeah, it's like when you see increases like this, and yeah, it's not really like especially like you mentioned, like for Game Pass, it's like I don't even know if they're going to keep I mean, at least people like us that kind of have some kind of knowledge as to like what they're putting on and what they're taking off. Like I feel like people like us might even fall off a Game Pass that are signed up. Like me and Perry, like we even said like, do we even want to renew? Like what else is on for like the Game Pass side of things that like we already don't own, or like it's I guess it's the better value because they want everybody just to be on it. But like it might be a situation where I just end up paying for
how all the
core, and that's it.
It's kind of like you're overvaluating what they're giving us because Netflix has been doing it. And I said this from day one. As soon as I jumped on Netflix, the first 2 years of Netflix, they were basically like they never upped it at all. You know what I mean? Like it was just a set price. But I looked and I said to people, you wait. I said, wait till Netflix becomes a mass adoption and they've shut down a lot of the competitors. I said, their price is going to fluctuate and fluctuate and fluctuate. And sure as shit they have. And do you even see this new bullshit with Amazon Prime? Oh, we're going to put ads on our Amazon Prime. And if you don't want the ads, you can pay us an extra $3. Why didn't they just say, you know what, we're increasing the fucking Prime to an extra $2
Exactly.
or whatever, call it a day,
Yeah.
instead of fuckholing us with this bullshit? Like, what is this, Halloween or something? Is this trick or treat? Like, what the, oh, something I've been paying for all along. Now you're going to introduce ads. Like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah,
if
that's
you're already
bullshit.
going to be adopted, you shouldn't have to pay that shit. You know what I mean? Like this horseshit. I mean, I'm only paying for Amazon Prime because I get my packages like 2-day free delivery. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have that shit either.
Yeah,
right?
because it does pay for itself with how much you save. Yeah, on all that stuff. Yeah.
But wasn't that the whole point of all the subscription services in the beginning, was to get away from the commercials? That's why you're paying. So that's compensating them. That's money in their pocket each and every month. And now you're going to put commercials back in because apparently you're not making enough revenue to make another 20 odd TV shows that 90% of the population don't friggin' want to watch. I don't want to fucking watch Dating with Dad. Come on. Come on. Take, man.
You're right. Some of the stuff that these services have on there, it's pretty, it makes you just question, you're like, okay, this is either going to be, something that increases over time, or now because of the, like you mentioned, Netflix, the 4K, option is there, right? So we pay for the 4K in this household, but like, that's like one of the main like subscription services, I guess, that we pay for. And even that, it's like it looks good, but like to be honest with you, like it's not like really worth $25 or $27 that I pay a month. Like it just isn't. But my parents use it, and like obviously we have multiple people on that account, so we keep it going. But it's also just like I don't know. I just think that the bubble is bursting with these services or these paid monthly things.
There's going to be an industry crash where a lot of these people are going to have to consolidate or team up or something, or they're going to close down because you just can't keep it going. People only have so much disposable money and time. You can walk into a strip club with $100 in your pocket, but at the end of the night, you can only afford to lap dance with so many. You know what I mean? That's kind of where we're at now. It's like, well, you can't watch and enjoy all of it. And then you have to ask yourself, is it really worth the fact I'm dishing them over $20 without any question? I'd probably watch it for 20 minutes. This is where we're at. If you got a family that's using the whole gauntlet of it, sure. But anyway, we're off on a totally different tangent.
You're on a tangent.
Terry knows that every time we get into these subscription things, I go off on a roll. But let's back to PlayStation, though, guys. I mean, I really don't know what to say with them. They're kind of like the most unpredictable person this year because we don't know. I mean, they've already launched the Slim consoles. They're apparently supposed to be working on another mid-gen refresh, which personally, I'm just going to say I think is absolute horseshit. And I'm not buying it. I was stupid enough to go out and buy the PlayStation 4 Pro, which felt like such a marginal upgrade that it was like, what did I spend my money on? Well, actually, first Pro I had was the Spider-Man limited edition, so there was some justification there. It was kind of cool. Although even that, let's make a red console and slap a big old white spider stick on it. Yeah. Like
I sold it for $1,000. I'm good. I bought my TV with that.
Couldn't they have at least made the center brick, that started to look like a PlayStation sandwich? Couldn't they have at least made the middle part like blue, like Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Or something? Like, no, it's all freaking red. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what Perry said since it was announced. He's like, why wasn't it red and blue?
It's gonna be white and red. They're gonna call it a period piece,
Yeah.
Oh.
This could be worth shit.
PlayStation Pulse Maxi Pad Edition. There you go.
If you call now.
Yeah, you only get stick drift for 5 days.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh shit, man. Anyway, you guys go ahead.
Okay, so for me, PlayStation, I feel like they only want to market like the golden children, right? So they have Insomniac and Naughty Dog and whatever, but then they've kind of mismanaged them to the point to where they went from where they had multiple IPs to now they're just have one. All right, so like that kills it for me. So like these studios need to go, they need to allow these studios to have the same freedom they had when they were third party, where they can make multiple different games instead of just one game and milk it to death. All right, that's what's happening with Spider-Man. They're milking it to death. We don't need 1,000 spin-offs. This is what they're going to keep doing, So just allow Insomniac to either bring back some of their other stuff that they have in their vault, or allow them to make a new IP. Okay, we don't need another Spider-Man. Okay, we're good. Naughty Dog, they hit it out of the park when they created Last of Us, but now they're not even creating anything new. Now they're just gonna remaster their stuff. Come on, their stuff isn't even old enough for a remaster.
I feel like it's
wasted talent.
Focus on the TV show now.
It's wasted talent.
Yeah. I agree.
Naughty Dog could bring back Jack and Daxter. They could do that. I mean, or they make another new IP, because they did such a great job creating a new IP when they did Last of Us. Allow them to create another one.
Right.
Well, they made Ratchet and Clank and it sold so poorly. Apparently, it should be just Ratchet and Spank. So I don't know. Phenomenal game.
They spent too much money on making that one. Which sunk them on that one. But they have some studios that they don't really push, and because they don't push them, the games that they make, which are really good, don't do well enough, because it's not Spider-Man, so we're not gonna spend $1 billion to plaster them on a subway train, or whatever. So like Japan Studio makes great games, but people aren't gonna brag about any of the games they make, so, and I think that's a miss for me. Like I liked NAC 1 and 2; those were fantastic. People don't brag about those. The remaster of Shadow of the Colossus, The Last Guardian, they did those as well. Fantastic games. I mean, they still have to work on their mechanics, but overall, those are good games. Those games are basically in a category of their own. When you look at Sony games nowadays, like it was said earlier about the variety, all their games are identical. They're just a different skin thrown on it, right?
But you're right, though. They did take some risk. Obviously, those were remakes of sort of games that resonated with fans at some point.
Yeah,
and we're definitely better off for it. I mean, Shadow of the Colossus remake was definitely much better than the original. At least I think.
Yeah,
so.
they made it a lot better, and then The Last Guardian was well done too. So if you're into that kind of if you're into that kind of thing, that's the kind of flavor that Sony used to do when they for PlayStation, is stuff like that. So I would like them to see what's the next game. If they're gonna continue pushing the stuff that Ico made back in the day, what's next after The Last Guardian?
Well, you bring up a great point, because Blue Point has been phenomenal at making remakes for Sony, right? They're just killing it. They're awesome. They're obviously very talented at making these remakes, right? Why don't they at least get Blue Point to go back and make one of the biggest SOCOMs ever, SOCOM 2? Go back, make it with new graphics, new controls, make a new campaign, and then improve the multiplayer. Because SOCOM multiplayer was just coming into its own, because it was kind of before multiplayer games were really, really big. You know what I mean? And Sony's infrastructure was not there for their multiplayer games to be successful back in the day. You guys know what I'm talking about. I mean, heck, even their mic chat system, they didn't have a party chat. They had terrible mic chats. All of that stuff was against it back then, right? Xbox was leading the way. It took Sony about 10 years even kind of be in the same ballpark. Now it's pretty even keel, right? You can go one way or the other, but I have both. And I think there's pros and cons to both of their onlines. I think they're both solid now. Sony's come a long ways from even the PlayStation 3 era, which was so far behind fucking Xbox, it wasn't even funny. There was no bones about it then. Now, it's pretty close. It's pretty neck and neck. They both have pretty decent party chats. I still find the Xbox simpler overall, but that might be just because I've spent so long on their ecosystem, I know how to use it. PlayStation is always a bit weirder for me. And again, I can jump on PlayStation any day of the week. It's like going on my Switch. There'll be 20 guys online and everybody's playing a single player thing. I trying to find someone to play a fucking PlayStation game with me is it's like, I don't know, man. I might as well just go out and fuck a gopher hole. You know what I mean? It's honestly, honest to God. Hey, everyone to play! Put the bat signal. I was like, cricket. Okay, I'll let you guys go back to your little single player shit. You're in your bedroom and your skimpy tighty whities. Playing your single player shit, fantasizing about Kratos and his big old muscles. You can't give me 20 minutes to come fucking play anything. No, fuck no. But all the time it's like, oh, Noob, you got to do some community game nights on PlayStation. Yeah, man, I'll do some. Then community game night comes around. Crickets.
Yeah. What do you want to play? Fortnite. What do you want to play? Call of Duty. It's like it's just the same shit you could play anywhere else. You know?
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying, right? But
Yeah.
man, me and Talos Ray, we did try Remnant, not my favorite fucking game, but yeah, at least we tried Talos. That's a good point. Talos was there. Talos is a good guy. But yeah. Anyway, sorry, I got everybody off the gopher.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's just that's just the thing is, I mean, I don't play multiplayer games. I'm a co-op gamer. So like for me, PlayStation is the single player machine because I'm not gonna be playing Call of Duty or anything like that. So they do like all of their exclusives for the most part are single player experiences. But it's just the same stuff on repeat. Do something different. Give me a reason to want to play on PlayStation, so I know I'm getting something different. Racing. PlayStation used to be one of the best places to play racing games.
Drive Club. Better than Gran Turismo, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, Drive Club still sucks. So like, so like they don't have
Drive Club
anything.
in VR was wicked.
So I would, I remember back like PlayStation 1, like there was so much variety for like games within like the car genre.
Oh yeah.
That you could never name them all. Now they have like 2 games. So like what happened? Okay, so it's just like I don't. They became a niche platform, like Nintendo. Nintendo is a niche platform. So is PlayStation. If you're either gonna be you gotta be someone who's just a fanboy because it's the only system you had, so you've never tried anything else, which is what most PlayStation gamers are. It was the first console someone bought them, and they just stuck with it their whole life. And then you have the people who are just really into like your Japanese theme games, which makes sense. It's a Japanese company; they're gonna have a lot of that. I don't play any of that stuff, so that's a loss. Mm-hmm. Or they are a great console for people who are into like your horror games. I don't play any of those either, so they got nothing for me. And then of course they have their God of War, which they ruined in my opinion, and then they have Spider-Man, which they ruined in my opinion, and then they don't do anything with Uncharted anymore, so they don't have anything.
Yeah, I mean, Uncharted 4 was the last like Naughty Dog game that I think I really enjoyed. After that, it was like, and even that, like when it came out when I was playing on my standard PlayStation 4, it was overheating. Like, and there was nothing wrong with it. It was a newer console, and it couldn't even play the game that was, it was advertised for. Like, oh, Uncharted, like play this game. And then I had to eventually upgrade to the Pro, which, like Noof said, was a very lame attempt at them trying to keep that thing afloat. And yeah, I just think that like they really haven't given me a reason to be like, oh yeah, this is like justified. Like this purchase that I made in 2020 for this console is like, I don't feel like I got my money's worth. I feel like a lot of this has been, I think with both machines, Series X, I love, but I think this gen.
You didn't play Uncharted 4 and make grilled cheese sandwiches on the top at the same time?
I probably could have. I never saw my PS4 make that color. It beeped red. The whole thing turned red, like in the center, and it said like your console's overheating. It is now turning off. And I was like, well, this console's like a year and a half old. Like, why is it, why is it acting this way? But yeah, it's just like I feel like this generation of consoles, 2020 onward, has been very slow to justify some of these big purchases that we made. Obviously, like I play most of my multiplayer games and game mostly on the Series X because it's the same thing where like I kind of prefer that system, especially for multiplayer games too. But yeah, I just think there's a lot of it's just such a slow pace this generation of consoles where it's like this. Yeah, we've gotten some good stuff here and there. I'm not going to be ignorant to those releases because I know we have gotten some that we've all enjoyed, but it's not as punchy as it was back when we were getting the other consoles back in the early 2000s even.
Yeah, definitely. I own the PlayStation for one game and one game only, Uncharted.
Right.
I
Yeah, it's a
played
single player, right?
the
Yeah, like
shit out of Uncharted. Like I played all of them like religiously. And like that's literally the only game I play on the PlayStation. Like that's it. There's like nothing else that's like driving me to like, oh hey, like like, oh, do you want to play a PlayStation? No, I have no other game. I played Uncharted so many freaking times that
but when you play Call of Duty, you're on your Xbox, right? So it's like,
Yep.
you just jump on there, and
that's where I grew up with it. Like on Xbox, I started off with Call of Duty on my Xbox.
Right. So it just goes back to that.
Yeah, because that was the multiplayer like platform at the time. Like that was like the 360 was like the multiplayer. Like
absolutely,
sucked ass. Like I didn't want like.
Well, the security wasn't good on the PS3, so the history showed that. So they got that definitely fixed by the time PS4 came through, and then they added the party chat, which was much needed, but even that didn't work for a little bit. Then they got it fixed, but it was it's just, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot to be desired from some of the creativity with either new IPs or just like new ideas. Like, I don't know. It seems like we're at this kind of like, I want them to prove me wrong in the next couple of years. All the companies that we're talking about tonight, I want all of them to prove me wrong, because I want to just see a little bit more of a positive energy brought to this generation. Instead it's like, games are coming out, but it's not really done, and we'll probably update it a month later, and don't complain about it if you complain about it.
We'll fix the game when it's $30 in 6 months.
That's right. There's been way too much of that. You're absolutely right. It's like these games are taking extra long. There's the COVID stuff. Yes, we were willing to chalk up a fair bit of that to the COVID, and a lot of the teams weren't together. And sure, you expect it, but now like a lot of these games were halfway through development, if not almost completed before COVID. So they come out, like I said, there's no excuses now at this point for some of the level of bugs that we've been seeing. It's great that Cyberpunk was able to sort of re-salvage its reputation to some degree, and that rarely ever happens. I mean, kudos to them for sticking with it and trying to give something that they hope the fans would like, and it's it's much better now than it was when it came out. But like I said, boy, like, did they ever learn a big lesson with that game? Like they learned that game almost sunk these guys. Now it's picking up some steam and people are back playing it again, but they've definitely learned a lesson. And I think they've said that they're going to try to avoid crunch, moving forward, as much as they can, stuff like that. So kudos to them. By the way, Coolcat Terri, you give me a great idea for a fantastic golf game. We're going to call it Gopher Hole Golf. And when you get to the actual end of the green for putting, the gopher holes, the holes where you got to put the ball, is going to be in different places because the gophers are going to pop up and you got to hit it toward the gopher hole.
That'd be cool. Caddyshack, man.
That's right. That would be so funny. Well, we could probably get bring Bill Murray in the stand.
Rodney Dangerfield as commentary. Just
I'll bet you can't get to that hole. Kind of starting to look like Rodney Dangerfield. All righty. I don't know. Has everybody had a chance to chime in on PlayStation? Because we are all we're moving right along here right now at about the hour and a half mark. We still haven't even talked about Xbox yet. Any more further things to talk about on PlayStation? I mean, outside of the mid-range, well, like I said, they've come out with their slims. They've got a mid-range refresh on the way, and I highly suspect that they will, just so they can at least boast that now they have the power crown that is more powerful than Series X. I don't suspect we're going to see anything majorly different with the console itself, but this is a problem with the industry, and people go, well, they do it with cell phones. Who cares? Cell phones are not the gaming industry, right?
Right.
And what works for Apple and what works for Samsung with all their iterations, did not work for the gamers. And people have got to put their foot down somewhere, because when this generation started, these were the things that you guys essentially promised gamers. You would see almost always 4K 60. Now we're barely hitting 1080 60. And I was like, this is shit that the 360 and PS3 were doing. I know the complexions of games have definitely changed. I totally get it. We all do. We're not stupid. We're not developers. I get it. Terry is kind of a developer in her spare time as well. And yes, there is a lot of stuff that goes into making a game outside of the stuff that we see. But, like, these are the benchmarks that they were given. These are some of the specs they were given. Most of these consoles are relatively powerful, or certainly powerful enough. I totally get it for some of the bigger open world stuff that's out there. That's a lot more taxing because it has a lot of compute power going on. It's not just what's taxing the GPU, it's the CPUs, right? It's the data that they have to transfer and stuff like that. So I kind of get that. And but again, we're still seeing too many games. Like there shouldn't even be. This is my point. There shouldn't even be an option now that gives you performance or graphics. Do you know what I'm saying? We should have one option. That's what PCs are for. Performance or graphics. That's why you buy a PC, so you can tinker with that shit. Gamers shouldn't have to do that shit. It should be like booting up your Nintendo fucking Switch. You turn it on and there's nothing to fix. That's what the way it is. The game is either going to run the way the developers intended or it's not. Bottom line. But stop playing with us and then trying to dish us out for more money, because at this point in time it's starting to get stupid, right? Personally, and this is my personal take, the biggest difference I've seen with consoles so far has been the solid state drives, bar none.
Yes.
It's the loading times, the in and out, the faster memory, that sort of stuff. That's the biggest thing I've seen. Graphically, like my Xbox One X was still pulling off shit that these new ones are doing. Seriously. And it was doing 4K 60 on certain games too. You know what I mean? That was a console that never did get fully tapped. This is what I'm saying. They never even tapped the One X, and yet so people are saying we're tapping the Series X already? Come on, give me a break. I don't think so. I think people are just taking the easy way out. They're not even putting in the development time. We see what Naughty Dog does with a talented team. They keep pushing the envelope. And that's one thing that Sony has that Xbox still doesn't, in my personal opinion, is their studios continue to seem to get the most out of their games on older, less experienced hardware. I mean, the fact that The Last of Us still looks amazing from a PS3 era, the original game, not just talking about the remaster, but still looks freaking phenomenal. Like some of this stuff, right? You have a game like on the PS3, or sorry, the PS4 when it came out, that 1886, The Order. You can put that up against almost any game out there, and it still looks phenomenal. This is what I'm saying. Rise, Son of Rome still looks phenomenal. Again, there's that thing about developers maximizing. It's like you look at this RoboCop game; it looks amazing, but you can tell it's like, man, this is an amazing developer, very talented, did a great job of honoring the source material. Could you imagine what these guys could do if their studio was bigger and had a bigger budget? Oh my God, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, I do digress. When the next generation of consoles comes out, they better be the be-all, end-all. You know what I mean? One thing is, I think the design, and I know this is very tough, is to get them into compact. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm finding these big fat-ass consoles now are starting to get a little bit like, what the hell? None of them fit in their cabinets. They're fucking 15 pounds a piece. And I know that's not always an issue, right? Because it's about the heating. We've talked about this. Anthony's talked about how even his old PlayStations were ready to burn the house down, right? It's about heat dispersal. I don't know how they're going to do that, but it'd be nice to get back to the consoles that looked a little bit more like aesthetically pleasing instead of a big old fucking refrigerator box and a fucking spaceship that had its flaps widen out, starting to look like one of your old ex-girlfriends after a couple of benders.
I think the designs are very and it's just like we don't have like we got these consoles 3 years ago to get out of the issues that we were having with the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and we ended up just like kind of we got again those little improvements with the SSD, but then it's like everything like why are we having problems now with games running at full potential? That's what I mean. Like this generation of consoles it's so like slow to start up when it's already been like 3 years. And like, I don't know. It's just, at this point, there's no excuse. And I think there's definitely I don't know. I just think like the balls to have a mid-gen refresh. And I know we're going to get into Microsoft here in a bit, but I'll talk more about that when we get to it. Cause that's another one where it's like, all right, are you guys going to try to get more money out of people? And what are, what are the intentions here? So it's like we barely got started with these other models here, and now we're already forced to upgrade. What the hell? But
well, that's just the thing. The forced word, it's always a matter of opinion. Look, at the end of the day, it's your money, whether it's Game Pass or a console or $90 game or $10 game. I'm not here to change anybody's minds. It's not the purpose of me doing podcasts. I say, it's your money. You do what you like. It's your opinions. We're all here for opinions. If you want to go spend your money on it, who's not to tell you can't, right? Again, it's your money. It's the precedent, right? It's where we send this industry. It's the message we give to this industry. It's the same as one of the popular YouTubers said the other day with all these games as a service, right? With all these new subscription models and all these microtransactions. He said, you know what? There's a lot of us very vocal about our hate for it, but apparently there's a vast majority that have no issues with it. Fortnite's a prime example. Think about it. People are spending almost $20 Canadian at least, for a skin and a couple of weapons. If that had happened during the 360 era, we would have been like tearing down the house. I remember when the first DLC for Call of Duty went skyrocketing. I think they were charging like $12 or $15 for 6 map packs or something. And people were like, oh my God. And I said back then on the 360, and this was like 2008 or whatever, whichever game started, I said, here we go. This is where it starts. They set the bar, everybody else follows suits. Now, mind you, not everybody can do what Activision was able to do with Call of Duty, because Call of Duty's a juggernaut. I think I read an article yesterday that said, is Call of Duty too big to fail now? They have a point. It's so huge. Again, they could literally slap a turd inside of a fucking box and it would fucking sell. They
So
could
Modern Warfare 3?
Yeah, they could sell turds to kids and it would sell millions of fucking copies probably, right? Until they finally smarten up, if they even smarten up at all. I mean, heck, we still got people thinking the earth is flat, so I don't know if I have any hope anymore. You know. Fuck, what was it? Somebody was asked a great question on a video I saw the other day. It was fucking hilarious. It was, fuck, I don't know. But anyway, off topic. But anyway, let's move on to Xbox. We got one more to jump into. This chat is rocking. I haven't even been acknowledging them because our conversation's been nuts. Milkman's in the house. Jesse Darby, Future Generations, Talos Ray, RWK88, Sir X-Men's been hanging out with us. Jesse Darby's in the building. DE is here as well. What is going on, everybody? The King is in the building. He's just loving this this podcast right now. Good to see you, King. Splendiferous is here as well. We got Axel1324, also known as Iconic Video Games Podcast. You might want to check him out on Friday nights and then again on Sunday mornings with Good Morning Xbox. Great show. Check him out. Coolcat Terry's on Good Morning Xbox. So there you go. We've also got John 907. The list goes on. Revelatio. Thank God it's not fellatio. There we go. We've got Matt Silver in the house. Newtorius is here as well. Yeah, there you go. Whenever you see the mag, speaking of the mag, Happy New Year, Mag. Good to see you, my friend. You're not in the chat, but hey, man, I just want to wish you a Happy New Year to all my ex-podcast panel members, the mag and Titan Drago as well. Yeah. Whenever you see the mag, make sure you ask him about felching. All right. But anyway, let's get into our favorite. Everybody here is primarily, I think, or definitely has a big association and affliction for Xbox. I have for years. I love the platform. It's why I've always said I'm so critical. It's not because I like to slam the brand. I really don't. There's nothing I'd like more than be praising them up to yin yang. But that's not who I am. I call shit where I see it. I give praise where I see it. That's how I roll. It's not just a one-way street here, right? Same with Sony and Nintendo. You know, that's my opinion, and everybody's entitled to it, just like the chat. You're going to disagree to disagree. But, you know, Xbox has done a lot of things right as well. They've done a hell of a lot of stuff right this gen. They did make a hell of a great box. You know, the Xbox Series X is no slouch. I don't think we've even seen it tapped. Look, they were a little slow at the gate with the games, but boy, they are coming now. 2024 looks like it's going to be amazing. First big game that I know I can't wait to sink my teeth into is a game that does look like it's pushing the graphical envelope. Hellblade. Oh my God. That's all I can say. Get on that, man. If you're a Game Pass owner, you're even in for a treat because you're going to get it day and date. That's amazing, right? Fucking game is going to be awesome. Ninja Theory, very talented dev. One of the best pickups that Xbox certainly made in the last 5 or 6 years was getting those guys on board. Can't wait to see their other projects either, not just Hellblade. But, you know, we know there's stuff coming down the pipeline. Perfect Dark and Indiana Jones as well. Obviously now this big announcement that dropped just before the year ended with Blade coming to Xbox. That's cool. I mean, you know, they're dropping some dollars. They're putting a lot of money where their mouth is. Despite maybe console sales have been a bit stagnant or not where they'd like them to be, there's no doubt about it. The people playing Xbox platform games is at an all-time high. The amount of user hours is on an all-time high. People are enjoying Xbox, whether it's on their phone, PC, on the platform itself. You know, they're making some serious bank. And I think once this AB key thing rolls into full swing, we start seeing the Crash Bandicoots. We start seeing, perhaps like Jez Corden said, they need to get a console version of World of Warcraft over there. You know, whether you hate World of Warcraft or not, you cannot deny it's a worldwide brand. It's played in the world all over the place, and to get it on a console and to make it simplified enough to play on a console would be absolutely staggeringly huge. There's a lot of these things. You know, Guitar Hero to come back in a big way, right? That's huge. But make a really good Guitar Hero. And you don't need, this is the perfect game that lends itself to Game Pass, because if you make a Guitar Hero game, you don't have to make one every 2 years, right? You need to make one good Guitar Hero game, make it phenomenal, and you just add the content through the game's Game Pass as a games as a service. Like games like that are meant. Nobody's going to care that you didn't upgrade the graphics 3 years on a Guitar Hero.
No.
You know, it's like these Just Dance games. They keep making a new one every year, but do they really need to make a Just Dance every fucking year? It's basically the same as the last one. Like most people are like, why? Because you added new songs, but couldn't you just buy one Just Dance game and add the songs as part of your DLC or part of your online subscription? Kind of like a Spotify ad shit to their subscription. Much the same way, right? Do I raise a point? I think I do.
Yeah.
But what do you guys see for Xbox? I see only good things for 2024. This is just scratching the surface. Obviously, we know they're going to have a plethora of new controllers. Apparently, I hear they're working on a new controller that's supposed to launch essentially alongside this new Series X. What do you call it? The revision, if it does come out, which I think
Brooklyn.
it will. The Brooklyn. They're talking about making a new improved controller, which I think, yeah, based on what Sony's done, Xbox, you know, they've always had a great controller, but they do need to step up their game a little bit here. So what do you guys think? Terry, why don't you jump in? You've been very quiet, and then we'll get the boys to come in. What do you expect from Xbox?
Well, first off, like when it comes to Xbox, like I'm not interested in controllers. So, and that's kind of like the big thing that they push is controllers. So like that's not for me. What would be nice is instead of having, so like one of the things that like PlayStation kind of does better is when they develop their controller, they take their high-end controller and that is their base model for that new platform that comes out, right?
Right.
Xbox has their base model and then they make like their elite and their other better ones. And why is that not just the standard that comes with the new generation console when it comes out? Why did they not launch the elite with the Series X? That makes more sense to me. Why are we just getting an updated version of the controller from the one to the
because
Series?
it costs a lot more to manufacture for that one, plus it would cannibalize sales of the cheaper end.
I hear you, but if PlayStation is putting in all this money for all the freaking what do you call it, their DualSense or whatever the stupid crap they have on their thing, then clearly Xbox can step it up. Oh, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes.
So because when I only buy a controller if my controller breaks, and usually I never have to buy a controller. I'm not going to just buy one because it has a fancy color. It's a waste of money to me to buy one for a stupid color.
They have so many controllers.
I know.
So
Harry knows too. Yeah.
So so it's like whatever comes in the box with the console is going to be my one and only unless it breaks. And these rarely freaking break because they are built very well. I rarely ever run into stick drift, but I think part of that is because I'm not playing games where you're going to be holding your controller aggressively because you're in a freaking panic, to where you're gonna break it. So it's just a waste for me. Game wise, they do. I think part of the problem right now is because of Hollywood. Hollywood's been on that superhero kick, and so consoles have been on that superhero kick. At least PlayStation has. So Xbox is now like, yo, let's get on the superhero freaking kick. And I'm just worried that Blade and what are they making? Who's doing the Wolverine? Is that PlayStation? I don't even know who's doing
Insomniac, PlayStation, yeah.
So PlayStation doing Wolverine. So what was the other one that they're supposed to be? Is it just Blade? I don't even know. But I'm sure Blade is just gonna. Because they're trying to, mimic PlayStation, Blade is probably just going to look like freaking Spider-Man. Okay, so why should I get excited for that? Right. So, I don't know. Like, I'm just not an exclusive gamer. Like, there's nothing for me to get excited about. So I don't know. I want to see. I was excited for Fable, but then that latest stupid reveal they did freaking ruined it for me. So I have no interest in Fable anymore.
What did they do with Fable? Like, what did they change?
They literally made it about like Aesop Fables, bro.
Oh,
Come
wow.
on, like
Damn.
If you're looking at what Lionhead Studios built, what they're doing, at least the way
Right.
they're advertising it, is nothing like that. It's literally like freaking Jack and the Beanstalk. Like what?
And it's already been years, right? So it's like everyone's
Yeah,
been
so
waiting, and then you
when
see
I
that.
was when you're thinking Fable, I'm thinking about what Lionhead made, and they're just gonna make it on a grander
Sure,
scale. No,
yeah.
they gave me freaking Jack and the Beanstalk, and they just put Fable as a freaking title.
Wow.
Get the DLC, you get Taurus in the hair.
You know, so freaking screw that.
She needs more demon door.
It'll launch with the Trebuchet in 2038. Whenever it
You
comes
know,
out.
so I don't know.
Jesus.
So it's just I don't know, like because I love Fable. I was excited that they're bringing Fable back, and then they finally showed me what they were doing, and I'm like, nope. Like literally, they deflated that balloon quick. So I don't know. I really want them to wow me because I feel like I shouldn't be strictly a third-party gamer, but like that's just the way it is because they don't. None of them make grandiose co-op experiences. None of them. All right. Either you have to be the competitive MP person, which those are all third-party games for the most part on every freaking system. So like, I'm not gonna buy a PlayStation for Call of Duty or for Apex Legends or whatever crap people are playing because that's not everything. So you have no bragging rights for those because you can literally play those anywhere.
I'm gonna say is thank God they're bringing back the Tomb Raider remastered trilogy because even old Triangle Tits Lara Croft is more hotter than that girl that's leading Fable.
You know, and then
I got
when you
Smoggy
look-
Dong syndrome over here.
when you look at exclusive games, whether it's Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo, they are going to be probably 99% always single player. Always single player. How come they can't come up with a freaking exclusive title that, is co-op based? Or why does it have to be a single player game with a multiplayer mode? Like Gears, single player game. Well, not really single player, but like Gears is one of the good ones, right? Because you can do co-op the whole freaking game, and then they have a super, very well done and fun multiplayer mode. You're not going to get that with Uncharted. Uncharted single player, their multiplayer is kind of crap, And then you had, and then all the, I don't know. It's just like it feels like Gears of War is like the only one that kind of really did that, and they did it well. And nobody else does that, and even Microsoft doesn't even do it for anything else.
Yeah.
So like, make a really good exclusive game that you can play either single player or co-op, and have everything. Have single player, co-op, and your multiplayer, so you get something for everybody, and and hit it out of the park. Stop making everything freaking single player or a multi-plat freaking multiplayer game that who gives a crap what you play it on because it's on everything anyway.
Mm.
So that's all I can say is just they don't really have anything that really calls to me. And I want them to make something like Gears that isn't freaking Gears.
Yeah, I mean, I love Gears
Yeah.
of War. That keeps me on Xbox. Honestly, like one of the main reasons why I like playing on the Xbox.
Yeah. Amen.
And Gears 6 is I don't know what's going on with that, but I wish we would have seen something already. To be honest with you, it seems like Gears 5. I really love that multiplayer. And that campaign was fun, even though I was a little bit late to beating it. But Gears has always been a reliable, fun co-op experience and multiplayer. I mean, I definitely agree with you there. That's like the one thing I don't want them to let go of is having a solid Gears title.
Absolutely.
Because 2 is my favorite one, but I love the first one. I love the third one. I mean, I played them all. I mean, I wish that magic I want them to keep because I really enjoyed 4 and 5. And yeah, but yeah, that shouldn't be the only thing. I agree. I mean, there should be more stuff like that. That it's like it worked over here with this. Let's try it with something else.
Yeah. So that's all I really want from Xbox is to get if you're gonna make an exclusive game to get me interested, you need to come up with something new that isn't single player. Because I don't care about Blade. All right, Fable's dead to me now. I hate Halo. And. Gears is great, but that's all you have. I don't even like Forza. I'm a huge racing, fan. I hate Forza. Hate it. So they need so they need to create an exclusive for me.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where they take Forza now at this point. I'm sure they're going to add more into this new one. I mean, it doesn't have the 8 label, so we don't really know, is this game just going to end up being like a continuation for the next 5 years? And can they improve that's reputation as well? That's another question. We know there's going to be another Horizon. I'm pretty sure that's almost a given. But we also know that Playground Games is also working on other stuff as well. The Playground's the one doing Fable, right?
Yeah, they're doing
So-
Fable. Or Jack and the Beanstalk, rebranded. We'll see what happens. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for Perfect Dark, but who knows? I kind of have an idea of what Perfect Dark should be. Hopefully we get that, but who knows? For all we know, Perfect Dark is going to be a reskin of Call of Duty. I don't freaking know what to expect. They haven't showed us anything.
They'll just keep getting delayed, and
They're
we'll
gonna
just
add the
getting
skins
dates.
in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the game.
Yeah, well, let's just talk about that Coalition. There's a lot of rumors that there is another Gears coming. There's been rumors for a long time that there is a Gears of War collection coming, a remaster, which, with the populated remasters, we can't really, give Microsoft shit about making one of their top dog franchises over, considering the reception to Sony's, you know what I mean? So, obviously there's a new audience to introduce to the franchise, which could be a good time to bring that out prior to a new Gears to kind of get that interest going again, to bring back the classics, but bring them back with better graphics and more content and just more improved, right? Because obviously there was a lot of dissatisfaction with 4. Not so much with 5. 5 was a step more back in the right direction, but there's something intangible, something definitely that people loved about the original trilogy. Cliffy B has been out there a billion times saying Xbox, like, I'll come back, consult and get me in. And I'm fully for it. Like, honestly, I think they should bring Cliffy back. Even have him on as, a content consultant to make sure that the series stays in the right direction. He was the creator. Nobody knows their content more than creators.
Yeah.
And you know what happens when you take full control away from creators? The Lucasfilm thing that happened at Disney.
Yep.
Should we go down that road, that rabbit hole? What the fuck is Star Wars now? I don't even know anymore. Honest to God, I've given up.
I've given up years ago on Star Wars, definitely.
Coalition, I would love to see them make something else. They are very talented.
And I'm sure they will.
And they've done a great job with Gears, but it's the same thing that PlayStation does, where they got something that worked and they just are milking it, and they're not letting that studio make something else. Coalition would make some awesome games, but we're only going to get Gears from them. Come on, I know they got something.
They will make something else, but
I know they got something in there that they probably want to do, but they're not being allowed to do it because you guys got to stay on Gears.
Well, because they have this. I think again, the pressure is to salvage the Gears reputation before it just becomes
right. They have to keep it going because that competitive scene is like non-existent now. Like all the people that were playing Gears 5, like doing it on like a tournament level, like a lot of those top players just stopped playing because I don't know. I love the multiplayer, but I don't think they didn't keep a lot of those long-term community people in their competitive scene where they try to make it seem like it was a big deal for Gears 5, but then they didn't really I enjoyed the multiplayer, but you can't let it fizzle out. I agree. You have to keep it going, but I would love to see Coalition do something else. I agree. They have a lot of potential.
True. Yeah.
But I think, Gears, they should, at least after 6, maybe they can reassess, but we are kind of needing a new Gears game, I think. And if they do a Gears 2 Ultimate Edition, I'm in, because Ultimate Edition for Gears 1 was amazing. Seeing that for 2 again would be awesome, or 3. So
most underrated and underappreciated sort of remake that was ever out there. It didn't get near the love it should have got. When you look at all the PlayStation stuff, let's give it a new resolution, and again, everybody's praising it and getting conversations. Come on, man. That came out and it's just like, what? No love for Gears. He added content, improved the graphics, improved the multiplayer.
God, it was awesome.
That's like, I can't even go back to the original Gears of War now. I have to play it on the Ultimate Edition because it's just night and day difference.
Yeah, I agree.
And they did that just to show that they could build a good Gears, because this was the first game that they built after Epic Games stepped away, right? So that was Rob Ferguson's baby to start, and then they went from there, right?
Yeah.
But it isn't the problem with Gears, isn't the problem with the actual sort of mechanics or stuff. The problem with Gears is they jumped away from Delta Squad too quickly. The story got convoluted and started to get stupid. And a lot of these games, you're only as good as your story, right? And then you start bringing in the Lambent, and it started getting really far-fetched. It started getting weird. Like, remember all the content? Because I know for me, I didn't like when you start bringing in all the bots, those freaking robots. It just didn't feel fun anymore. They took away sort of the horror elements and just started making it corny. And the multiplayer just started getting cornier and cornier, starting to bring in, like, pom-poms and pink weapons. And, and what are they going to have in there? Dildo launcher next? Like, fuck, right? Seriously.
It did get a little silly with the multiplayer stuff, as far as like the customization.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry, but I still have trouble when I get into a multiplayer match in Halo, and then people are going around with like cat ears and spikes on their head.
Oh, forget it. When I saw the cat ears, that made me want to play Halo less. Yeah, I was like, this isn't good.
They got samurai suits, the suits that don't even look like they're Spartan suits anymore. It's like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this? Halo, or it's like this is the thing. You have to have your game that has an identity, and it can't stop trying to be Call of Duty. This is the thing. Actually, Call of Duty's even gone stupid, because Call of Duty was fairly serious, and now they're even worse than everybody else. It's like everybody's trying to do the Fortnite thing, and it's like, I guess it's working. It's not working for me because I ain't buying that crap, but it's working for all the little 12 and 13-year-olds. Look at this! Oh my God! It's got a little spinny thing that goes on my gun. Oh my God! I got flashy bullets. Oh my God! I got a toupee. Oh my God! I got a little I got pom poms. Oh my God! I got rabbit bunny ears. Oh my God! My mom's vibrators in this kind of Like, that's where we're at this point. I'm like, I just want a face palm. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, I know.
Why do they have to turn every fucking thing I love into a fucking joke?
That's why I missed the 360 era, where it was like everything felt fresh, and like the lobbies were just as toxic, but at least it was on games like Gears of War 1 and Call of Duty 4, like the original. When things were a little more fresh and polished, and things didn't seem as I don't know, tiresome now with some of the stuff they bring back. And
crispy bombs in that. What's going on, crispy?
Yeah, I miss the old days of Call of Duty, where it was like, like Modern Warfare 2, like you had like a few guns, a few attachments, like it was basic, like basic as shit. Like there's not like these like 50 attachments that you have to put on this gun. This attachment's for this gun, this attachment's for that gun. And there's like a skin, you could do this, you could buy this, you get a bundle, pay to win, yay. But like it was just like basic, just like Call of Duty. This is it.
Shoot me if I'm wrong, but the best Call of Duty multiplayer that I found where they hit the sweet spot was on Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, when they had just 3 kill streaks.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And they had regular weapons. There wasn't 40 different attachments. There wasn't all this junk. You just went in, you played. You either had the skill to kill people or you didn't. It wasn't about who's got this, I can turn invisible, who's got riot shields to pop down just when they're about to die, like all this junk.
Yeah.
It's like it was more of a pure shooter that had just enough to differentiate it from the Call of Duties before. And to me, that was the sweet spot. And then it started getting so popular that in order to stay current, they started adding this and adding that. And I always said, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, guys. You just got to add more weapons, maybe more maps, and that's all you need. You don't need fuzzy hand warmer guns. You don't need you know what I'm saying? Like you don't need
rappers.
But I guess you don't need Eminem and in there and all this kind of crap. Like, come on. But I mean, look, people speak with their wallets. Apparently my wallet doesn't speak very much at all, but apparently it's selling like hotcakes. It's selling in droves
every year.
I'm in the wrong. I'm not in the right, but any the hardcore, I'm sure Crispy agrees with me. Like, we just wish it was back that way, but it's not going to be anymore because they all trying to fight for the dollars. And, that's where it's at now. Unfortunately, microtransactions are the way. I mean, they got rid of loot boxes. They listened to us there. I took that shit out, but now there's all this other shit. It's just like even in Halo, trying to get stuff in Halo Infinite drives me nuts. Even trying to get any of that stuff. How many fucking hours do I got to play in this game to get anything?
You still got 5 challenges left, Noof. Come on, you got to get.
I couldn't see. I can't be bothered with challenges either. Oh, stick 20 people with a freaking sticky grenade. Get 40 headshots with this gun or that gun. Go down and kick somebody in the fucking balls 20 times. Actually, I wouldn't mind kicking someone. That'd be kind of funny. Big old boot in the nuts. Yeah. Who cares about the assassination? Just run up to someone, boom, and you hear the tin can. Oh! Down he goes. That would be funny.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think the I don't know. Like, I think I'm happy that we were there to see at least some of those games, whether it's single player or multiplayer, when it was like more of a new idea or something that was like not what it is today. Like, I'm happy we saw some of the stuff in its infancy or in its prime, I guess, before some things got a little messed up, because sometimes with franchises, like, yeah, like they don't hold people's interest. Like for some other people, it keeps them involved, but some people just kind of fall off, after a while, because it's just whether a title sucks or it just comes out and completely disappoints you. Like it's hard to maintain some of that magic as you keep going on and on and on every year. And you're fighting for, like you said, everyone's fighting for the dollar sign. So, yeah. So it's definitely something where I think that's why, like, I did enjoy Texas Chainsaw this year. And I was playing that mostly on Xbox, but I did enjoy that because, obviously it's on Game Pass, but also it's just a fun multiplayer game. There's problems with it, but I like things that are a little bit different. And it's not really like Dead by Daylight. It's very different because of the family dynamic and the victims and everything. So, like, I enjoyed that. That actually surprised me as like a newer multiplayer game that I felt a little more refreshed while playing it. It is frustrating, but it's still very fun. So that just names a few that come to mind,
Fred, any big surprises you think from Xbox this year? I mean, obviously, Hi-Fi Rush was kind of a big surprise, just dropped out of nowhere. We got a compulsion of a few different studios, I think, that are certainly working on stuff as well. Do you think any studio comes forward outside of the ones we kind of know that maybe brings something different? Certainly, some of these studios got to be fairly far along in completion on projects, just maybe haven't announced them all yet.
Yeah. Well, definitely, like, like the biggest surprise for me is like throughout this, it was like, Microsoft buying Activision. Like that was like that, like freaking like surprise. I was like, holy crap, it's freaking great. It's just upsetting to me now, like, like we don't have anything on there. Like it's like, oh, we'll bring you Call of Duty Game Pass, we got it, and then like nothing. We still have like nothing on there. It's just like
that needs to change this year.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Heavy.
Yeah, I know Bobby wanted to get his like last paycheck, his last hoorah, but he's sitting on an island somewhere, freaking drinking his Arnold Palmer. Like, come on, like just like give us a freaking, just put the Call of Duties on Game Pass. Like, do what you promised us, please. And it's just like, come on, like I've grown up with like Xbox, like that's like game I started on. That's like the console I started on when I was like growing up. Like, I was playing all my that big huge box that I had with the original Xbox. Like, it's just like, come on, I want to stick with Xbox. I want to stick with myself. They just need to put that stuff on Game Pass. They need to, because I just feel like I'm hurt. I've been lied to.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think Xbox has probably one of the more predictable years overall. We do have some sense of their roadmap moving forward, and I think it's going to be a big year. I think it'll be even bigger than this year, to be quite honest with you. And I think a lot of us will be we're just hoping to get a bigger glimpse of the pie. A lot of us at this point in time would like to know how far along we are with Indiana Jones and stuff like that. And Perfect Dark's been relatively silent. We haven't heard much on that either. So at some point we got to start seeing something. We know the Hellblade is just about finished. We've got a date for that. It comes out next year, but we don't have the confirmed date, but we know it's 2024. And I think it definitely will drop sometime. It'd be nice to see if Ninja Theory as well, perhaps digs into some of their back catalog as well, and perhaps either does remakes or they bring them out. What is that? Enslaved Odyssey to the West, great game that a lot of people talk about. That was Ninja Theory. I don't think they have the rights to that one that was on the PlayStation 3. Remember that one with the redheaded chick? What was that one?
I'm trying to think.
Heavenly Blade.
Heavenly Blade. It was actually a pretty cool game back in the day.
It was a launch title too.
That was Ninja Theory.
My dad loved that game.
It was a really cool game ahead of its time. But I don't think they have the rights to that. I think Sony may have the rights to that title or whatever. But there's also that Project Mara. I don't know if that's an actual game or what's the deal with that. And I think they're working on some stuff too. So yeah, it'd be an interesting year to see what happens.
Yeah, I think I would assume that if the Brooklyn is still coming out, that they would show that sooner than later. Because if they're killing off the Edith, aka the Series S for the other version of that as well. I just want them to at least announce it sooner than later, because I know that their plan for next gen, or at least what they said what is going to be the next generation, is going to be a few years down the road of them kind of, at least from what those leaks showed us, was that it was going to be a streaming console. But that's like down the road. We still have to get through these next couple of years. So like, do you guys think they're going to, I mean, I guess I'll ask Noof and Coolcat, like, do you two think that they're going to be showing this Brooklyn thing or these other models that come with the extra controller that you can customize and all that crap? Like, do you think they're going to show that sooner than later? Because obviously Phil Spencer said, oh, it's, things have changed since that. Obviously had to do some kind of damage control, but like, what do you two think about that? Honestly, like, do you think that's still happening? And do you think that's going to be like, they're just going to announce that pretty soon?
Go ahead, Terry.
Officially.
I don't know. I hope it's not happening. It just, I don't really see a need for it.
Right.
But I mean, if they are if they are still on track to where they want to, have that come out, then yeah, they need to just get it out. Because otherwise, it's not going to make sense for them to possibly push just moving into the next gen console in 26 if they drag this other one out too long.
Yeah.
Jesus, Terry's like fucking Judge Judy tonight, just slamming everything. What'd you say?
Look, I hate on everybody equally. All right.
We all do on Game Complainers too. It's the same thing. We pay for it all. We put money into it, and we can complain about it. That's it.
Oh, you can't fault the podcast. It's called the Game Complainers. I mean, geez, what do you expect us to do? Come on and be really rosy and cheery and compliment everything, even all those dildo gun weapons and big compounds.
It's not about compliments. Okay.
I still remember that playing Dead Rising 3, and he had the fucking dildo gun. Oh my god, it was too fucking funny. Unbelievable. You're going around in your banana hammock with the dildo gun. Nothing was funnier than that shit, man. Beating fucking zombies. Like, man, they got to bring back Dead Rising. That fort was a bit off, but fucking bring the shit they had.
Capcom can bring it back.
Fucking number 3 was fire, man. Whatever the fuck they did with that game, that was awesome. And it was co-op, too. It was fucking deadly. Yeah, I love number 3. 4 was just, we're back in a fucking mall setting again. Like,
Yeah, they give it to those different developers,
Yeah.
Yeah, I have enough malls here when I got to go to one around Edmonton. Jesus,
they actually gave it to a Canadian team. So come on, Noof, what the hell? Like,
no, that's what fucking happened. The funds froze up as the fucking developers froze up here. They had to turn the heat off. We only got enough to make one little mall. That's it. That's all we're gonna do.
We gotta have Frank take selfies with zombies because that's what he did in the first one, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
No.
Taking pictures with everybody.
Oh yeah,
Dead Rising, the very first game, everyone was taking pictures.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, 3 and 4. Those are ones I still gotta play. Actually, I never played 3.
Dude, go back and play 3. That was a launch title too. It was so fucking good, man. You get on the motorcycle. I remember you outfitting your friggin' you get like a dozer and fucking put shit on the front of it and just run people over. Oh my god, it was great. Yeah.
I gotta check it out.
State of Decay with more fun, right?
Yeah,
well, what do you think, Noof? You think they're going to be dropping this Brooklyn sooner than later?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's coming sooner than later for sure. If they got it and they're going to release it, like now's the time. If they're planning to make another system, I mean, obviously it's to have, it's to give you the power of the Series X in a more functional factor. I mean, adding the extra memory is huge because we all know how tight we are for memory. So if they keep the cost down, it's basically going to be the same cost as the current Series X. I mean, most people really at this day and age, they don't really care for the disk drive. It seems to be. But if they can get the cost down and maybe even have some sales on this thing, it could spike a sales, especially if you can launch it with, again, the ABK stuff coming alongside. It could be a great promotional thing for the consoles to slap the Call of Duty on there on the box or something like that.
Right.
Like play these games or Crash Bandicoot, bundle it even with some stuff, right? They put it out there, bundle it with some great stuff. Maybe it's the whole lineup, or like play all the Crash games, or like here's like the Activision collection, or different collection bundles, like a Bethesda collection bundle or an Activision bundle, and you bundle with certain games to get people right into it. Give them a choice of what they want, like Nintendo does Smash Bros. In one and Kart in the other, and something. You know what I mean? So do different bundles, spice it up, put some big ad campaigns, 3 months of Game Pass out of the box, let people get in and jump in. I mean, I would take the Brooklyn all day, every day over the Series S, just because of the power advantage and the form factor and having that extra memory. Because the one thing I didn't like about the original S was that 512 megs of solid state. My lord, that's like 2 Call of Duty games and you're done. That's crazy, man. The latest Call of Duty is 280 something gigs. So
it is a growth.
There was an update for it on Christmas Eve. It was over 300. You just had to re-download the whole game again. I had to delete it off the what is it, the unit thing that you plug into the back of the thing?
Yeah.
The expansion storage.
Yeah.
I had to order one from my phone from Walmart and have them deliver it to my front door.
I was gonna say the special editions of Call of Duty should just come with one of those instead of all the other nonsense.
Yeah.
Here's a memory card with your
One of our
special
guys
edition
says
Call
that
of
all the
Duty.
time.
Right? Like, geez Louise, man. Like come on, guys, get with the program.
All for a Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
Well, do you like the cylinder design of the Brooklyn? Do you think that's better than the boxier?
I kind of do. I mean, it'll look more like a. Well, I guess I love the memes when the first Series X came out, because he had Arnold Schwarzenegger and they put the box up on his shoulder. Reminded me of Commando when he had that square bazooka launcher. So I don't know. I mean, I think it looks cool. It looks nice. I guess as long as it's not too tall and it fits in more places, and as long as it's got some weird. I guess it's supposed to be made vertical because I'm thinking if this thing goes on its side and you don't have a specific kind of stand, this thing's rolling everywhere. The cats will have a field day rolling that damn console. I don't know, but I definitely think. I mean, like I said, I don't know. Like I think Microsoft's going to have the most predictable year. I wish I could come up with a big prediction. The biggest thing I was ever right about was the year when Game Pass came out, and I was probably the first guy in all the podcasts that said, "You watch." I said, when Game Pass comes out, and said this takes off, it said it's going to cannibalize games with gold, and I was fucking 100% right on that.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, a lot of guys go, Noof was the first guy that called it. As soon as Game Pass picked up, games at gold went do. And now guess what? No games at gold at all.
Nope.
And I'm paying almost double the price. Thank you.
Yeah, that's.
But I love you, Xbox. I love you enough to pay it just because you're Xbox and all my friends are there and you're fucking cool. Yeah. And I love your controller and I love your consoles. And I even like the corporate factor because the guys are actually seem like nice guys. That's a bunch of stuck up twats.
And look, it's and what we're saying, and I see some people in the chat are saying too. I mean, look, the Series X for $350 is a friggin' steal.
Hell yeah, those deals.
Christmas, so wow. I think they're definitely trying to push out as many models as they can that are still left in stores, so they can kind of make some room and for the new stuff. And yeah, I think $350 for a Series X, especially now, because if we're going to start getting some games, getting some releases, and things start kind of heating up a bit. This is a good time to get it. We obviously jumped in because we're fans. We got it right from day one, but hopefully we get some release dates, some actual games coming out, and we have, some more justification as to why we have these things on top of just good SSD performance and a couple other things that we could play, a good backwards compatibility. But obviously we really want to see these consoles really start heating up with these next couple of years. This year 2024 being kind of like a clean slate now it's just us to kind of kick back and see what the hell they're going to do, who's moving the chess pieces first.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely.
Any further thoughts, guys, on Xbox and things you expect to see? I don't know, did we talk to everybody here? Perry, did you have a chance to really jump in here?
I kind of agree with everybody. I just wish the company would give more transparency. Like, what's the roadmap? What games are supposed to come out this year? I'm tired of seeing trailers with no dates. And say, hey,
everybody's terrified to do it now.
Here's Perfect Dark Game Pass. So Perfect Dark might not come out for 5 years, but I still got to stay on Game Pass and wait for it.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's just a safer bet to announce a game and not give a date and take the shit for that than it is to put a game out and announce a date and then slip a date and slip a date and slip a date. And then it becomes, so I think that's where they're at.
If it's 2024 now, they have an idea of what is actually coming out this year.
Sure.
I would like in January for them to go, hey, this is coming out in June. This is coming out. And, if dates get moved, that's fine. But they have to have some sort of idea internally what's actually coming out this year. And
the thing with Xbox now is they got so many studios and so many projects is they got to be careful too that they don't launch too close to each other because you don't want to cannibalize the sales on one game by putting one out 2 months later and then all of a sudden that game doesn't resonate.
I get that.
So I think they got to know where their big titles are, the big AAA, the stuff that people have on the radar, and they have to know strategically where to play stuff like the Hi-Fi Rushes of the world. Or if they want to bring back a game like The Evil Within, where does that stay? So everything's going to be in a case-by-case scenario, and it has to fit into the grand scheme of things where it's going to make the best sense for Micro. Even if the game is already ready and it's already ready to go gold, doesn't mean they're going to just pop it out there, because again, they're going to be looking at each studio and go, what project you got? Where is it at in development? What time should we launch it? Right? They got to be very careful now that they maximize performance of each game that goes into Game Pass and not just funnel them all together. And then all of a sudden everything's just like, well, there's too many things, right? No, it's screwing everybody up.
I'd also like to see like smaller games from Microsoft. Like this Banjo Kart Racer thing that everyone keeps talking about.
Mm.
You don't need to spend like $300 million to make it. You know, just get like a small team together and say, hey, make this kart racer, and you know it's going to be on Game Pass, so that's another reason to jump on there and play that. Like, it was the small games while we're waiting for the big games. You know,
Yeah,
that's what I would like to see, but I don't know if we'll see that in 2024 or ever.
Well, this is going to be a big year. Like I said, if we have a few hardware launches, and we've had some stuff already in the form of, like I said, the PlayStation Portal and a Steam Deck and an Asus ROG. So we're starting to see a revitalization or sort of a resurgence in the portable gaming scene, which is crazy. But like somebody said as well, it'd be nice to have more native portable scenes on the go, where the games can be downloaded to the hardware and played on the go without needing a persistent online connection or a Wi-Fi stream, those sorts of things. That I think is key for a really successful one. This is where I think the Switch or the Switch 2 will have its leg up, hopefully, especially if they keep the SD card slot for the games and stuff like that. So it'll be an interesting year for sure. I think all three will definitely have a couple of big games. Sony might be one of the biggest question marks, because again, they haven't really had a show to kind of really show off where they're at. Like I said a couple of years ago, I said the problem with Sony was they blew their wad, in a sense. Was what they did was they put too much and again, this is a perfect scenario what we were just talking about, of putting too many games kind of too close together, and they did it so much to kind of almost like crush Xbox. It was like when Xbox had that little bit of a flat lull, it was like Sony was dropping all their big stuff, and now it feels like the tides have turned and Sony's hitting a lull and Xbox is ready to drop. But the difference between Xbox 3 years ago than the Xbox today is Xbox studios have grown exponentially. They have way more studios and way more talent, and a lot of these games that were technically supposed to come up pre-COVID are just about ready to launch now, and boy, it's going to get interesting.
I think part of the problem though with that is what happened is their ego got in the way. They were like, so the thing is when you're on top of like the mountain, right? You're the king of the hill, right? The only place you can go is down. So if you're up there for so long, you get complacent. They got complacent. So.
You're absolutely right. It happens even in sports. You ever notice that? Like guys trying to get to the UFC title, for example, go undefeated for how many fights? Then they get the championship belt and then all of a sudden they lose within 2 or 3 fights. Yeah. It's like, man, they were like dominant. All of a sudden, it's like, what you got to remember is when you're number one, everybody's gunning for you. And you're the ones raising the bar and setting the example, which again is why I think Forza kind of took a slip, because Forza was kind of king of the racer for so long that I don't know, somewhere along the lines, just somebody didn't bring it the same way they brought it in the past. And that's my opinion. Like maybe you guys love Forza Motorsport to death, and I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's actually good. It's just, to me, for a game that took the first long hiatus for the franchise, I expected to come out flying, especially since it's built from the ground up. And then you're looking at Gran Turismo comparisons to Forza, and Gran Turismo actually looks better. I hate to say it, but it is what it is. Like the car models, you go into detail, they're better on Gran Turismo. That's crazy. Right. Mind you, I still prefer Forza. Like the playing wise, when it comes down to playing, and that's where the proof is in the pudding, I'll take Forza all day, every day. Forza to me plays better than Gran Turismo. I don't know if you guys disagree or disagree, but Forza hands down.
I would say Forza for the last, I didn't play the new one, but the ones before that, like the last Gran Turismo I played was on the PS3, and that was in like 2013. So, and even that was just like, okay. And then we play the new one, and I'm sitting here watching a history lesson about cars, and I got to put in the tire pressure. Like that shit just that lost me. I was like, I'm done. I don't know if this is in every Gran Turismo, but like I don't remember on PS1 having a history lesson cutscene for an hour and a half. I just want to race. You know what I mean? I don't need to be explained anything. Just give me some real cars and let me change some settings and I'll race. You know what I mean? So I would say Forza has definitely been the better, like more just kind of jumping into play. I can't speak for the last one, but I really did like the the years before that were leading up to this latest
Gran
one.
Turismo for me, it's the weird menu systems that they have, and even their soundtrack is just tacky to me. I don't know, just weird. I don't know, just there's something. I mean, I like those games, but I lost interest in them.
Yeah, I like
Horizon
the older
West, it's
ones.
just
Yeah.
nuts,
Yeah, like
right?
the PS1, PS2 ones, I think they definitely held my interest back then. But yeah, I didn't really get into them like PS3 onward, which I guess would have been 6, I guess, back then. So yeah, 6 and 7. I'm just like, yeah.
6
I
had
wish Polyphony
$6,000 worth of DLC, by the way.
Oh, it did. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You know?
I wish Polyphony would bring back. Remember they did a motorcycle one on the PS2. It was it was a Tourist Trophy.
Oh,
I wish they would bring that because I really love motorcycles and I love that game. Again, it was Gran Turismo with bikes, but it was so well done, and I wish they'd bring something like that back. But I don't see it happening because I don't think Tourist Trophy sold overly well on the PS2 at the time. And but like I said, it wouldn't hurt for some of these racers to bring motorcycles into the mix as a DLC or an extra content. We saw it done with Project Gotham Racing 4 when they had the bikes and the cars. That was awesome. I miss Project Gotham. That still is my favorite racers, PGR4, but I'll never see that again.
Yeah, I think now it's unfortunate that I know we were talking a little bit earlier about like how many, or even like back in the day, like how many racing games there were, and now it's just like there's just 2 like on those 2 different platforms that like a lot of people just constantly play. I just wish there was more variety within that.
Well, there's a lot more than you think because I mean you got
There's
games
a
like
lot.
Mud Runner and F1, and you got the
Mud
rally
Runner, I wouldn't
series.
consider that as racing.
Well, not really
That's
racing.
slow going, but
But you got the kart racers, you got your sim
Yeah.
racers,
Sure.
you got your Forza Horizon, you got your the Crew Fest, you got the Burnout series, like you got the rally kart racers, the F1 racers.
the problem is exclusive.
MotoGP. Exclusive wise, yeah.
Exclusive wise, they've fallen off because now racing games are multi-plat pretty much,
Right.
which is fine. But they should get some more exclusive ones.
Yeah, that was my point, was just the more exclusive. I mean, I know there's
Yeah.
racings, there's plenty of racing games that are still around today for sure. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I guess we'll see, especially now with with more VR stuff being advanced now. We can get some cool VR racing stuff. Those opportunities are always open for them to explore for more games utilizing that, because I mean, shit, it's a VR headset, so you can't really miss that opportunity. You gotta make something cool with that one. So
well, there's the new crew game now in Talos. What is it called?
Yeah, they got Motorfest out right now,
Motorfest.
so they're shutting down the servers for their old games because everyone has moved over. You can even, they're the first ones to do it. You can even transfer your cars from the previous game to the new one. Which is
wow. Nice.
I've seen a couple of months.
Nobody else has done that. You always have to start, with nothing and build your library of cars. So it's awesome that they allowed you to do that. You don't get everything because licenses have changed and things, but you can at least bring a good amount of your cars over, which is phenomenal.
Even saw that even WWE 2K22 is actually shutting down servers in a couple of months.
Oh wow,
that's crazy. That game's not even old. It's 2022 and they're shutting down already.
They said buy the new one now.
That's it.
That's the thing. Like when you go back in the day, like when it comes to like your wrestling games and stuff, they were so good, And now like wrestling games suck. Like I don't really buy them anymore. Like back in like the early PlayStation days,
the AEW game when that wasn't bad.
Like I haven't bought. Man, I'm trying to think of the last one I bought. I think it was back when THQ was still making them. So
yeah, good old Ukes and THQ.
Oh yeah,
like they're just, I don't know. They
good old THQ.
I don't like the idea of having to do a mini game for a grapple. Why can't I just grab the guy and toss him? Why do I, do a mini game when I'm on the ropes and do a bunch of BS? Where's the OMG moments? They just got stupid.
Yeah. I think once they did they started doing like 2K this, 2K that. That's when they started to just go down the shitter. Like that's when it just decided to go.
Yeah, back in the day, you had Day of Reckoning on GameCube. Then you had Here Comes the Pain, Shut Your Mouth, and SmackDown vs. Raw on PS2. And then you had Raw 1 and 2. And then if you go beyond before that, you had all the WWF Warzone and Attitude and SmackDown and all the WCW and NWO games. I mean, there's so many and they're so good. I mean, I don't know. At least going back and play, and everyone never shuts up nowadays about how good No Mercy is, and every new wrestling game is supposed to be No Mercy. It's always compared to No Mercy. Me and Perry talk about it all the time on the show. It's like people always hype up the next wrestling game to be like, it's like No Mercy. It's like we're probably never going to get that again, just like that. You know what I mean? Even if it's AEW, I don't think we're going to get a No Mercy type game.
The AEW one was much closer to these old games. I mean, it is done by Ukes, who was part of all this insurgents on the N64. And they even kept sort of animation system. If you look at the way the wrestlers move, like I think they purposely intentionally did that. So they added like semi-realism with sort of that stuff that you knew and loved with the old games. And for the most part, it does. It's certainly a lot easier to get into and get the hang of than the WWE games. There's no question about it. So they're onto something there. And where they take it and improve on it, we'll have to see. But I think it was a solid first effort for the AEW game.
Okay. I haven't fully played it. I mean, the last Ukes 2K that I played was 19, and that was the last one they were a part of before they left. So, and I actually liked 2K19. I thought that was actually pretty fun. That was like the first wrestling game I played in a while, actually, and it was cool. There are a lot of cool customization stuff on there. I don't know how the latest 2Ks are, but I mean, I think I'm happy there's at least some kind of competition when it comes to wrestling games, because at least, I mean, now if AEW is going to be making games, then, I can't speak for the overall brand, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Have you guys tried the Retromania Wrestling? I actually did a developer interview with the lead head of that studio back on Good Morning Xbox years ago.
Oh, nice. Wow. No, I haven't checked it out. No.
Yeah. So I did an interview with him before the game even launched. It was a really good interview. And, so I was trying to get him back on, but I never heard back from the guy after. I mean, maybe he's too successful now. I don't know. But anyway, Retromania was supposed to be really good too. If you like the old school wrestlers in the vein of basically it was a spiritual successor to WrestleFest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So definitely check that one out if you haven't done so already. That one's pretty good.
I'm going to have to play that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been like, I haven't played it myself, but they've been really good at releasing more and more content for it. They keep adding more wrestlers. So
indeed. So great job to the team over there. I forget the name of them exactly, but I did the interview a couple of years. It was good. It's one of my first decent interviews I did with an indie developer, and talking about the trials and tribulations of getting the project off the ground, the kind of money and resources went into it, and how he had to do a lot of the work himself. He was trying to do like the financial work and the contracts. You know what I mean? He was doing a lot of it himself, and then he had coders and a few things. Not a super big team, but they did a pretty damn good job. So
that's cool.
Yeah. Big month though in January. A few big games coming down the pipe here. This is what you can expect. The Last of Us Part 2 remastered. We got Tekken 8, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney Trilogy, Another Code Recollection, The Cub. Those are just a few of the releases we can look forward to in January. So off to a pretty good start, I must say. So hopefully everybody, and I'm sure the backlogs are absolutely massive. I know mine is crazy. I'm just, like I said, just started getting into RoboCop that came out at the end of last year, but amazing game so far. Enjoying the hell out of it. Plus, I'm still trying to beat Resident Evil 4 in VR. So good stuff. All right, any final thoughts before we bring in our other significant panel members to chime in? You got your questions ready, everybody? Because they're on standby, whoever you want. So they're on standby here. So, but any further thoughts on the gaming? Anybody didn't chime in with anything here? I don't want to keep us too much longer. We've definitely went past the 2-hour mark, almost 2.5 now. So it's been a great show. Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Really, yeah. No, it's been great to kind of see where everyone's headspace is at with these what we say on the Game Complainerz, the Three Stooges, the Switch, or Nintendo, Xbox, Microsoft, and Sony. It's like, it kind of is like the Three Stooges sometimes, it's like we love them all in some ways, but we also are just like, what the hell are we doing? So it's cool to
plus and minuses of all of them. Like everyone has a strength and weaknesses, right? And it's just amazing how the console war stuff just drives everything here. It's just nuts. And it's like, if you have all three, who gives a shit?
Exactly.
You're going to be able to buy what you want, there is really no argument. Everybody's going to prefer one or the other, and it's pretty dominant on this panel that most of us do prefer our Xbox ecosystem. But that's for various reasons. I understand why people like the PlayStation. That's what they got into. That's what they love. That's what they know, right? And that's where we're at. But for me, it's I've always said Xbox is not just about the games. It's about the community. It's about the people I've got to know. It's about the games I play with those people. It's about all the thousands of dollars in content that I basically purchase, whether it's physical or digital. You just can't get rid of that anymore overnight. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of our accounts now are tied to a digital or an online account association. And if you just go out and sell that shit tomorrow, you don't fucking get nothing. Unless you boot it up and basically rehook it up and re-download everything again. So this is a difference right now. It makes it much tougher for you to part with stuff because we've got ties through a digital ecosystem now. Everything's associated with an account, which makes it very convenient at times. Like you just install an account and all your shit's ready there and ready to go essentially once you re-download it or re-download your game saves, right? But there's just, like I said, pluses and advantages to all of them. I think we're in for a great year in gaming once again. It's just going to be a question of who's gonna step up, who's gonna stay in the middle, and who's gonna drop the ball, so to speak. Right? Everybody starts on a fresh plate this year. Let's see who has the first big game. Let's see where that carries on. We know there's lots of stuff coming in the next couple of months. Hardware is kind of but hardware to me at the end of the day is kind of irrelevant, right? Like it's whether you want to upgrade or not, but at the end of the day, it's all about the games. It's all about the games. It's all about the experiences. And I don't think there's been a better time to be a gamer in many ways, but I also don't think there's been a worse time in some ways, if you guys understand what I'm trying to get at.
Absolutely.
Oh, we know.
Because there's a lot of caveats right now. Because if you think about it, we spent the better part of the last 4 or 5 years talking just as much about performance on our consoles as we have about the games. You look at the podcast about the 60 frames, the resolution, the features, the function, who's got this console, who's got that console. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is where our conversations have strayed too many times, and it's gotten away from why we buy a console in the first place, and that's the games. And again, I'm going to say it now, and I said it before, exclusives do fucking matter. That's why we buy one over the other, right? At the end of the day, there's a lot of people buying Xboxes and PlayStations for Fortnite and for PUBG or Call of Duty. We get that. But at the end of the day, the hardcore, especially a lot of us who invest more than into the free-to-play ecosystem, are people that buy the exclusives, right? And you play the Call of Duties with it. But I've always gone out and bought a console for games that I can only play in that environment. So I'm not a PC guy. So that's irrelevant to me. I don't care what comes out on PC. I've never had a PC machine in my life for gaming. Probably never will. I do have a decent PC that I'm on right now, but I just don't use it for gaming. So it is about the Halos and the Gears of the Wars and the Forzas and the stuff that I love. And that's why I've always sided with Xbox, because I love their exclusive IPs more than PlayStation's. And here's the other thing. With Xbox, I've liked the fact that Xbox's IPs have much longer longevity because they do have multiplayer and they have co-op and they have reasons to go back and revisit. This is something that's very negligent with PlayStation. They have that great single experience, and sure, you might play it once or twice or 3 times, but that's the thing. You're not talking about it for years. There's still people playing Gears 2, people playing Gears 3, people playing Ultimate Edition. Where's the Sony stuff that's got that longevity? This is the thing, right? Anyway, I don't want to start it into a console war, but these are some of the reasons why I gravitate to Xbox, right? So
Sure.
Xbox sucks, says Cyber Gunter. I know he's just playing around. Cyber Gunter's awesome. Great guy. See in the chat. Dreadpool's hanging out with us tonight. Pixel Slappers in the building. RWK. We had Crispy Bomb hanging out with us. The Gears man himself. There's not many people on this planet that love Gears more than Crispy Bomb, let me tell you. Sir X-Men's been hanging out with us. John 907, Jesse Derby, the MILF man. I know, right? You said it a billion times. Great chat tonight. Jason Max is here. Man, the list goes on. You guys are amazing. What a great turnout. We had at one point there's almost 45 people here. That's fantastic, guys.
Wow.
That's
Victor
awesome.
Click, Victor Click in the chat tonight. So a lot of regulars here. Fantastic people. Thank you so much for supporting. But anyway, it is now that time to get over to a couple of the personalities. It wouldn't be a kickoff show to the year without bringing in at least a couple of them. So if you got your questions ready, I'm going to vacate the screen. Go ahead. We'll leave it first for the panel and our esteemed guests. If you guys got any questions, enter the chat. Now is your time to ask whoever you like. Please do it soon before my voice is completely shot.
Shout out to Dreadpool, by the way.
Yeah, Dread's awesome.
Yeah.
Lurking before starting the show. Shout out to our fantastic brothers over at the original Next Level Gaming podcast.
Yep.
They moved from Thursday nights to Tuesday nights, and then I changed my time zone. We overlapped completely. Was not intentional. Nothing but love and support for Mike Mullis and
Yep.
and Peter and the guys over there. They're awesome. So I wish them all the
Very
best. Got to play some Fortnite with them the other night. It was fantastic. We had a blast to kick off the new year. It was really cool playing Fortnite and watching this disco ball come down just as the clock hit. It was really cool. We got pictures of it. It was a fun experience.
It's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, no victory
yeah.
royales for us. We came close a few times, but just couldn't drop the hammer. So, yeah. But anyway, questions, guys, for Cletus, Safe House, Arnold, or Handy Andy. Go ahead.
I have a question for Arnold.
Go ahead.
I mean, what do you? I mean, what are your thoughts on Perfect Dark? Why hasn't it come out yet? Like, what do you think that is?
Honestly, first of all, I love the name of the game, but unfortunately, when I think about Perfect Dark, it's usually at the moments when I have a really ugly lady with me and we're in the bedroom together. I want to hit this light switch. That is the Perfect Dark experience for me, to turn it off and I can't see anything. That's what you call a banger. When somebody says, what is she like? You call it a banger. Why is she a banger? Because you're going to put the bag on her hair to forget that she was over there. If you don't have a perfect reason to save up all your used plastic bags, because we know that the society is trying to get rid of them all, save them for your ugly dates. I'm going to put the ass in asphyxiation. Shit. We got a question coming in from, let me see here. Anybody want to read it? Take it away.
Arnold, did your horse die in Red Dead Redemption? If so, how?
Yes, of course, my horse did die. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you that it died from a gunshot wound. It was because I overrode it. And I kept getting off the horse and I say, what is the friggin' matter with you? Why can you not keep up? Did I not tell you to do your workouts and eat your grass? So I went to get back in the pen. You got to work harder because I'm over here pumping iron. What are you doing? You're sitting there eating grass and shitting all over the place. So I'm going to put a saddle on your ass and we're going to ride into the sunset. Unfortunately, it croaked before we got there.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh my god.
Arnold, did you break RWK88's tractor?
Who?
RWK88. He has a tractor and it broke in real life.
Of course,
Did you break it, Arnold?
I break everything. I break bones. I break hearts. I break whatever that's going to come my way. That's why I am Arnold Schwarzenegger. I am the dominator, the terminator, the masturbator, the emancipator. Doesn't matter what it is, you bring it on. I will be the eighter, the greater, the greater. Let's do it. Come on. We got one coming up from Jesse Darby.
All right. Like I said, Safe House, what did you do for New Year's? Was it interesting?
Yeah, baby, yeah, what's going on? Fucking cock ass. Welcome to Happy New Year 2024. It's amazing that I haven't been fucking dead because my voice is so fucking sore. What is going on, Jesse Dobby? Yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about, you cock ass. Man, you know what I was doing? What I was doing on New Year's Eve, I was probably swallowing nails. That's probably what I was doing. Now, honest to God, man, you know what I had? I had myself a bottle of Jack Daniels. And I had some hot chicks. I know that's impossible to imagine me with a couple of hot chicks because they're saying, how the hell can you be sexy when your voice sounds like you just swallowed an elephant's ball sack? You know what I'm saying? But I was just like, hey, girl, you fucking hot as hell. I want you to get inside my bed. I want you to drop your pants. We're going to do a dance. That's what we're going to do here. That's what we do. That's what, let me tell you, I was shaking it, baking it, and making it. That's what we did for New Year's Day. Oh, baby, yeah. Woo!
Oh shit.
We got any other questions here?
Oh boy.
That was awesome.
Shit.
I have a question for Arnold.
Go ahead.
So what do you think of them putting Nicki Minaj and 21 Savage, the rappers, in Call of Duty as skins?
Look, honest to God, what can I tell you? This game is crazy. They put everything in the but me. They got Nicki Minaj. What's next? Menage a trois? Seriously, they got everything in there. They got the little fruity guns. They got the little horse, like fucking. I don't even know what Warzone is anymore. It's not Warzone. It's more like Warzone because all people do is sit up in the corner, they camping the whore in the ass, and then they're all laughing at you, sending you messages online. You suck at Call of Duty. They're like, no, you fucking suck. You dropped out of your parachute just like you dropped out of your mother. You went fucking splat. Honestly, get out of your fucking hole. Come out and shoot like a man, you girly little sissy boy.
Oh,
Arnold, any final words for Bobby Kotick?
Just fucking enjoy your retirement, you dirty bastards. You haven't had to do anything compared to what I had to do to earn all of my millions, and you're over there with doing. You've got so much fucking money, you can stuff it in the mattress and sleep on it. Doesn't matter if you get so much money. You're probably at home right now wiping your asshole with the money. You know, I swear to God. So get the fuck out of here, you and your curly hair. You look like fucking Bob Saget with fucking I don't know what the hell. You look like I don't know. You look like a chia pet that got loose in your mother's ball sack. I don't know. But get out of here, Bobby Kotick. Kotick. It sounds like your last name for a fucking vaginal brand. Get out of here. Take your shit and get lost. Nobody wants you. Xbox don't need you. Activision don't need you. Take your money and run. You turn it into the shit. You turn it into the shit show. You could have hired me. I could have tell you how to do it. All right. We got any more?
Fucking shit.
We haven't brought in Cletus or Handy in.
Cletus, can you say hi to my friend in the back over here?
Well, hey, friend in the Cletus here. First of all, I want to say hello to all you guys. We got two bald guys, a guy with a great set of hair, and we got a lady up there that got an awesome hat on her head. We can't see her hair, but I'm sure it's there. But anyway, I got hair downstairs. That's what I'm talking about. But anyway, that guy in the background, I just want to say he sat here for almost 3 hours, and he being fucking stiff. He's stiffer than a fucking CEO at Viagra right now. But anyway, I had a fantastic New Year. And I didn't even fuck a relative this time around. I was staying sober. That's not bad. I hope you guys have had a fantastic New Year's yourself. I hope you had lots of moonshine and you didn't see your wife's moonshining. You know what I'm saying? I had a good time, baby. Let's go. Let's bring on 2024. All them video games. You got them Nintendos and them Xboxes and them PlayStations and all that shit. Yeah, bring it on, baby. I'm waiting for Death Stranding 2 because I can walk another 100 miles, baby. I just got that song. What's that one? Because I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more just to be old Cletus who's falling down right outside your bedroom door. There you go.
What the hell was that?
Okay. All right.
Glances are fogged
Oh
up.
my god.
Fuck. All right. I think that'll probably do it for tonight, guys.
Oh boy.
That was killer.
This might be
God,
one
that
of
was
the
awesome.
craziest episodes ever.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Oh, we're
lots
on
of
it.
clips from there. All right, we got a super chat coming in before we roll the show. We'll bring Andy back in on the next week, I think. I gotta take a break here right now. Victor Click, he drops $5. Coolcat Terri, take it away.
Safe
Oh,
house.
You got a question?
Safe house. Who did you kiss when the ball dropped? Your wife or your sister?
Now, you know how you put that shit in check over there, Victor Click. I remember when you first come to this podcast, that was your name, Vic the Click. Well, let me tell you, I ain't licking my sister all by mama. Honest to God, no, that shit for Cletus. Cletus got that shit down pat, okay? All right? Cletus' mouth on the best of days smells like a fucking spoiled tuna sandwich, okay? Leave that to Cletus. I'm over here doing my shit, man. When I drink my moonshine, I fucking the finest honey. That's what I do over here. Right, that's what I be doing. You do that shit with Cletus now. I might be stupid. I might be a lot of things, but honest to God, it ain't closer to kin, the better the skin for me. All right, there you go, guys. All right.
That's awesome.
Holy shit.
All right, everybody, it's time to wrap the show. This has been a dynamite first episode, just over the 2-hour mark, obviously. Probably one of our longest podcasts, but I expected it. It's the first one of the year. We've had a couple weeks off, and of course, lots to talk about with the three companies and sort of our feeling out of what to expect in 2024. But without any further ado, just a couple of shout outs. Like I said, I got to give a shout out to middle-aged game guy, Titan Drago. Two of my best buddies in the world, and two guys that started the Gaming After Dark stuff with me, as well as former member Prime Believe, which I haven't seen around for a long time. This another shout out goes to a very good friend in the community, and haven't heard from her in probably almost a year now, but to Assassin Lupa. If you're out there, we want to let you know that I've never forgotten about you. We miss you dearly. We hope that you're doing okay. Wish that someone would give us the thumbs up to let us know that you are. I know how much you love video games and hanging out with the community, and she would always be in my podcast chats. So to Assassin Lupa, we love you. We miss you. I wish you all the best in your recovery. To this amazing chat, I mean, guys like Timothy Dixon, Doggy Dog, Victor Click, Pixel Slapper, Splendiferous, Jesse Darby, Crispy Bomb, Cyber Gunter, Iceman, Axel, the list goes on. All my former crew over at Good Morning Xbox, obviously Coolcat Terri, Axel, Eternal Shaddai, Dreadpool, all that great gang, guys. Happy New Year. You're awesome. You're part of the family. I consider these guys here tonight who have joined me to be part of my new extended family. They're amazing. And I love the fact that they really enjoy what I do. And anytime, I get people that say, Move, you love what you're doing, you bring something a little different, it always brings a smile to my face and knows that I'm doing something right. And ever since I started the podcast, and that's the biggest thing that's kept me going is, I get on and people always tell me all the time, I get this in direct DMs or get it in my comments. They say, Noof, I laughed so hard at your podcast last night. It made me forget all the shitty stuff that's happening in my life. And to me, that's the beauty of a podcast, especially the kind of podcast that I do, where it's not just console warring or, I'm not statistically accurate. I don't have all the fancy graphics. I don't have all the other shit that a lot of you guys put a lot of work into, and kudos to all you guys who can do that. You're amazing. There's a lot of amazing podcasters out there. Your shit's like on the level of fucking professional, and I admire that so much. I just don't have the time, the hardware, the knowledge. Honestly, you know what I mean? But I love what I do here. I love my panel. Shout out to Mental 9R. Hopefully he's back next week. And you guys are just amazing. I can't say it enough. And I want to start off the new year by letting you know I do appreciate you guys to your wicked hot. Again, I got that headset thing you won last month. I'll be sending that to you soon. So stick around. But anyway, let's wrap this up and let these guys get out of here. To these amazing gentlemen here, we'll start with Slendy at the bottom. Mr. Fred, let people know where they can find you. And thanks for being a part of this show, man. It meant a lot to me to have all three of you guys here.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Noof. Thank you very much. It was an honor, being a part of this panel. This is crazy. I'm still new to the whole streaming and being on live and everything like that. So Perry and Anthony have been helping me get started and get a jump start. But yeah, you can find me on my YouTube channel. It's at Slendy. And I do I've been playing Alone in the Dark, the old school one on 360. And
I thought you were talking about something else then, but sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, I've been playing a lot of that. I'm also going to be I want to try and do maybe some IRL streams and stuff like that. I'm a bowler, so I bowl in leagues and stuff like that. So I've been wanting to stream myself do that. So I might be starting that really soon. So yeah, just this is just the start of my channel, and hopefully it can go up from here, and hopefully I can entertain people like you guys do. So yeah,
man, everybody always has asked me, I was given a lot of advice, and people ask me, and I say, man, the thing is, be yourself, but the most important thing is just have conviction in what you're talking about, and have fun, because it always shows when you're having fun. And for those who don't know, like I said, I spent almost 5 years in radio. And that was one of the things that they said the audience can tell when you're having fun. And it's about inflection in your voice, being excited about things, not just the constant monotone delivery. Nobody wants to, sit and listen to, the police report, and I'm back that on 67 for, Nintendo, bringing, that sort of stuff. Part of my shtick is the humor, right? I try to bring those characters in. And then it always gets a laugh. I know the people that come to this podcast, they wait for it. That's why they stick around the whole show, just to ask those crazy questions and see what kind of answers I'm going to come up with. So, Anthony, pleasure to have you here, my friend. First time visit on the Gaming Fuse. I promise you it won't be your last, nor will it be Slendy's last on this podcast. Let people know where they can catch up with you, what you got going on. Love the background too, man. There's a lot of money tied up behind your head back there, and it looks awesome. I love it. Slendy's background kind of looks a lot like my background, except I got a green screen. Yeah, because I'm still in my basement. Trust me, I turned it off too. Mine is it's drywall and fucking.
I need to get a
collectible
green
shit,
screen.
so.
I need to get one.
I think
Well-
Fred has more Kleenex than me, but
But anyway, Anthony, I do digress, man. Go ahead and let people know where they can catch up with you and what you got going down this year.
yeah, you can catch me on Let's Talk Resident Evil. That's my YouTube channel, and I talk about Resident Evil and survival horror stuff. And then I also have my film channel, Inocula Productions, which I do
Nice.
like short films, and I'm going to be doing some more stuff on that this year, as far as like normal, like regular movie reviews and stuff like that, to expand a little bit more. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And then same thing on like social media. Let's Talk Resident Evil. So that's where you can find me on Instagram, Discord, Twitter, X, whatever you call it nowadays. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Go check them out, guys. Awesome stuff. And Anthony, when the Resident Evil 5 comes out and it has remastered co-op, you should play that with me.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be
Yeah.
so much fun.
There you go. I'll narrate it as Arnold.
Oh, that'd be killer.
That'd be great.
No, but it's going to be
better
a
record
zombie
that.
behind there. Sheva, I told you already. Stop opening the door.
Just yelling at Sheva the whole time.
Yeah.
No. All right. So anyway, Sir X-Men comes in with one more super chat. Go ahead, Terry. $2.
Cletus needs a GoFundMe for Manscaped. Let's help.
Indeed, indeed. There you go. And then I can start doing those commercials on my show. It's brought to you by Manscaped. Sheepy Ball. All right. Perry, Game Complainerz himself. All right, man. Let people know what's happening with you in 2024, where they can catch up with you and your channel, and tell people to come on by and support your damn store.
The Game Complainers on YouTube. Every Wednesday night, it's me, Anthony, and Fred, and we podcast usually 9:30 p.m. or 11:30 p.m., whatever time we're free to jump on and do all this. Social media, same thing, Game Complainers, and that's pretty much it. And I do the store. I'm not going to mention the store, but I do the store, so
Yes.
we're good. But thank you. I appreciate
he's got his
both
own
of you
store,
having us
guys.
on.
Like I said, I applaud him for that. That's awesome.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks for being here, gentlemen. And last but not least, my
Anytime.
co-panel member, Coolcat Terri, who was slamming it down all night long. That's Judge Judy over there, but we love her for her opinions and her take on things. That's why I brought her in, because she gives a different version than a lot of us guys tend to make, and that's good. It's a good thing. So, Coolcat Terri, obviously, thank you for everything you brought to the show in 2023. I know you've only been here for a few months, but it's been an awesome run so far. We hope to continue that this year. And let people know where they can catch up with you. You've got a few projects on the go. Obviously, a huge indie supporter, doing Good Morning Xbox as well, and a few other things. Let people know where they can catch you.
All right, you guys. So you can go ahead and catch me over on the, Good Morning Xbox, like Nuke just mentioned, on the iconic video games channel with Axel hosts that one, and it's very well done. That's Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern. I'm also, and then after that, I go on Twitch and I do my own thing. So my name is Coolcat Terri, like you see it on the screen here. I am a Ubisoft content creator over there, so I love those games, so that you can catch that over there. And then I have my automotive YouTube channel, Coolcat's Alley, where I work on my car, and it's a good time. So if you guys like car content and stuff like that, and just go ahead and check that out. So I just got done rebuilding my cooling system, and we're getting ready for my next projects. So go ahead and check all that out.
Awesome. Well, there you go. And you know where to find me, right here. This is my only podcast, unless I'm hanging out with these fine folks at the Game Complainers or other places as well. I'm always open for invitations. I love to drop in and be on podcasts whenever possible. And I promise, I try to keep it more PG when I'm on other people's shows. But hey, that's what we do over here. M-rated show. That's how we got to go. But you know where to find me, guys, right here each and every week. Be back again next week. Hopefully Mental 9R is back as well. And you'll find me streaming sometimes on YouTube and over on Twitch. Appreciate all the people that have been coming over and follow my links. They're in the Twitter or the X app handle as well. If you're trying to find my channel and stuff like that, I could definitely use a little more support over in Twitch. It's been a slow run. I was doing great on Mixer, but of course we all know how that went, right? So yeah, but anyway, YouTube's been going pretty well. Can't complain. So it's been a good 2023. Looking forward to a great 2024. Already off to a great start with this amazing first podcast tonight. Chat's been dynamite as always. But until next week, we're gonna That's it. We won't keep you any longer. We'll let you go play some games instead of talking about the damn things. We'll see it. We'll see you all soon. Take care, everybody. Have yourself a great night. And again, Happy New Year. See you in the next one.
Take care.
Take care.
Take care.